It being 5 o'clock, the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of November 28, 2017 is hereby called to order. Ms. Colleen, can we have roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jones. Ms. Sposito. Mr. Grow. Mr. Melvin. Mr. Bourgeois. Mr. Perilou.
Here.
Mr. Otan. Mr. Lafont. Mr. Lafont is not here? Late. Mr. Lorraine.
Here.
And Mr. Cantrell.
All right, at this moment, if everyone please rise, we'll have invocation led by Mr. Michael Grow, followed by the pledge led by Mr. Bo Melvin.
Who art
Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item of business, Section A, approval of minutes. Number one, motion to accept the minutes of the November 13, 2017 special session. Moved by Mr. Jones. Second by Mrs. Sposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 801. And item two, motion to accept the minutes of the November 14, 2017 regular session. Get a motion to Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Sposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 801. All right. At this moment, I'd like to recognize a couple of guests in the chamber tonight. Mr. Frank Bason. How you doing, sir? You want to step up and introduce yourself? I understand that you have a new role with Troop C. White button, and name and address for the record.
All right, I'm Captain Frank Bass. I'm the Troop Commander of Troop C. All right, excuse me. Troop Commander of Troop C, 4047 West Park in Gray, Louisiana. Thank you so much for having me, and I apologize for taking so long to get here to see you guys and visit. I know I've had requests before to come by and say hi, but I just wanted to come by and say hi and introduce myself and let you guys know if there's anything that I can do for you, please don't hesitate to call. If there's one thing that we learned in regards to public safety is that working together is so important to be successful in regards to public safety, not only enforcement. So please, at any time, if you guys need any help with anything or need me to look at anything, pay special attention, whatever, please let me know. And also want to let you guys know that we have a campaign going on that began for Thanksgiving and lasts throughout the holidays after the first of the year. It's called Zero for December. And this is an awareness and enforcement campaign that we kicked off working with our local partners. And what our overall goal is 0 deaths for the holidays. What we're doing in regards to the enforcement side is that we are working with our local partners, and you're going to see more troopers on the road along with us working with our sheriff's office and our local police agencies throughout the troop area. And what we're doing is we're targeting bad driving behavior. We're looking for these people that's not doing what they're supposed to do, that's driving impaired, and getting them off the roadway. Because again, we want 0 deaths for the holidays. And the last thing that we want is an empty chair at the dinner table for the holidays, so that we'll be out there enforcing and increasing our numbers of law enforcement officials on the highway. In regards to the awareness side, is that we ask the public to play their part as well. We ask them to practice good driving behavior, wear their seatbelt, don't drink and drive, have a designated driver, call for a ride home, because again, it's important. I mean, this is a time that we need to spend time together as one, and again, we don't want an empty seat at the dinner table. So thank you again for having me. Again, I apologize for taking so long to stop by and say hi, and if I can do anything for each of you, please don't hesitate to call. So thank you for having me.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Mr. Bourgeois.
Captain Bason, I want to say that I personally appreciate you reached out to me. A lot of you folks in Bayou Blue, you've really reached out, and I think you've done a great job, and I want to say thank you personally.
All right. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Mrs. Christine Russell. She's the interim district attorney for Lafourche Parish. Ma'am, would you like to step up and say hello?
Good evening to all of you. I think I know everybody on the council. To those I don't know, again, my name is Christine Russell. I apologize that I too was not able to make it to the last meeting. I really wanted to come in front of you and introduce myself, but I had a prior speaking engagement. I want to let you all know that just like with Mr. Morvant, my door is open. We will continue to respond to your written requests for opinions. I will continue to respond promptly. and my door will always be open to all of you. We will attend the meetings and be here so that I can take notes to make sure that if you respond and ask questions, thereafter, that we were able to respond quickly. So again, our door is open, and thank you so much for letting me come tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, we have to go back and revisit item 2. Minute clerk was unable to finish those minutes. We just voted on approving those minutes. We're going to have to defer those to the December 14th meeting, please.
Okay, who had the second on that?
Ms.
Ms. Esposito, can you pull your second? Pull your motion and deferred.
To 12/14 meeting.
All right, we need to know these things. All right, Section B, proclamations. Number 3, proclamation honoring Miss Marguerite Knight Irwin for her outstanding service to the community. Ms. Esposito.
Ms. Carlene's going to read the entire proclamation, but I just quickly wanted to say Lafourche Parish has a lot of wonderful people, and when you're looking for the best of the best, you don't have to look far, because Ms. Marguerite Knight is one of those people that is at everything. She's involved in everything, whether it's fun or not. She puts her neck on the line. She stands up for her community, whether it is popular or not, and she's always willing to serve in her community. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to honor you, and Ms. Carlene will read the proclamation.
Proclamation, Parish of Lafourche. Whereas on behalf of Councilwoman Lucy Esposito, the Lafourche Parish Council wishes to honor Mrs. Marguerite Knight Irwin for her outstanding service to the community. And whereas Marguerite attended Louisiana State University for her undergraduate studies and received her designation as a certified financial planner from the College for Financial Planning in 1995. She is a life, health, accident, and variable annuity licensee and holds the Series 7, 24, 63, and 65 securities, registrations, and the Family Wealth Advisor designation. And whereas throughout her years, Marguerite has been active with several nonprofit organizations and currently serves on the advisory board for Nicholls State University College of Business, Fletcher Technical Community College Foundation Board, Lafourche Education Foundation, and Marganza Action Coalition. And whereas Marguerite's government involvement includes serving as the chair of both the Board of Adjustments for the City of Thibodaux and the Baja-Lafourche Tourist Commission. She previously served as chair of the Thibodaux Chamber of Commerce, where she was the driving force in the design and execution of the community art project called QUAC. She was also co-chair of the Thibodaux Planning and Zoning Commission for 15 years, president of the Baja Junior Women's Club, president of the Regional Arts Council, advisory board charter member for the Louisiana Center for Women in Government. And whereas Marguerite has a long list of accomplishments and honors, which includes being named as an outstanding young woman, state Speak Up winner, Louisiana's Junior Chamber of Commerce #1 president, and outstanding chapter president in the United States. Whereas Marguerite's other professional awards include a top investment specialist, outstanding wealth manager, 5-star wealth manager, and outstanding women in leadership. And whereas Marguerite was responsible for the implementation of the first ever private bank in Louisiana and continues to be a top producer in her field, Nicholls State University honored her with the Beta Gamma Sigma Award and recently named her an honorary alumna. Therefore, be it resolved that the Lafourche Parish Council wishes to honor Ms. Marguerite Knight Irwin for her outstanding service to the community. On behalf of Council Chair Corey Perilou, Council Vice Chair Lucy Esposito, and the Lafourche Parish Council, they do hereby set their signatures and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Lafourche Parish Council, State of Louisiana, this 20th day of November, 2017, Matthews, Louisiana.
I just want to thank the council, and especially Lucy, for nominating me and giving me this proclamation. I have been blessed, and blessed with a loving family, a great community, great friends. And when you are, I think it's important to give back. And so I've given back only because to me, there's no better place to live than Thibodaux and Lafourche Parish. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, and we have one more proclamation, item number 4, proclamation honoring Mr. John DeSantis for his outstanding service to the community. Mr. Jones.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Mr. John is not able to be here tonight. He has a prior engagement, but he did send a letter and a proclamation that we will present to him. But Ms. Carleen will read the letter from Mr. John for apology from not being here, and the proclamation she'll read. Ms. Carleen.
This is from Mr. DeSantis. I wish to offer my apologies for being unable to attend tonight's meeting. I am, as you are, reading this at the Wetland Center in Thibodaux as part of a panel discussion about the Thibodaux massacre. I did not realize that its date set a while back by the National Park Service would conflict with this meeting. I don't know where to begin with thanks for this great honor. I have always tried to speak truth through my work at a time in our history when truth speaking, especially by people in my profession, is criticized and scorned. It is especially enlightening to be bestowed this blessing. This proclamation means the world to me. Councilman Jones, Chairman Perilou, Vice Chair Esposito, and all the other members, please accept my heartfelt thanks presented with a few tears on behalf of myself and all the people whose stories I have endeavored to tell. State of Louisiana proclamation. Whereas on behalf of Councilman Jerry Jones, the Lafourche Parish Council wishes to honor Mr. John DeSantis for his many years of service to the community. And whereas Mr. DeSantis grew up in New York City and over 20 years ago relocated to the Bayou Country of South Louisiana. And whereas Mr. DeSantis is currently the Houma Times senior staff writer and has worked as a reporter at the Houma Courier, Daily Comet, and the Houma Times. He has also served as the city editor at the Daily Comet. And whereas Mr. DeSantis has authored numerous books, which include the Thibodaux Massacre, Racial Violence, and the 1887 Sugarcane Labor Strike, For the Color of His Skin, The Murder of Yusuf Hawkins, and the Trial of Bensonhurst, and The New Untouchables, How America Sanctions Police Violence. And whereas serving as a journalist, Mr. DeSantis has for many years written of the people of Lafourche Parish in both good times and bad, and has researched and attempted to learn the truth behind the events of November 23, 1887, known as the Thibodaux Massacre, during which an undetermined number of African-American people were killed during a 2-hour shooting spree by white citizens, fueled by tensions related to a month-long strike of sugar workers in Lafourche Parish and a neighboring parish. Whereas it is the documented research that Mr. DeSantis performed not only locally but in the United States National Archives that allowed the people of our parish to learn details of this event hidden for more than a century. And this research, along with other work, has resulted in a book published in 2016 by the History Press of Charleston, South Carolina, called The Thibodaux Massacre, Racial Violence, and the 1887 Sugarcane Labor Strike. And whereas Mr. DeSantis has used this book and his research to aid the healing of race relations in Lafourche Parish through actively uniting descendants of massacre victims with their family histories. Also, Mr. DeSantis and his book have resulted in the successful creation of a nonprofit organization that seeks to locate the remains of said victims if they can be found, and that he has united diverse people of various races, polar opposite political and social views, and religious creeds throughout the Louisiana 1887 Memorial Committee toward the work of that project. And whereas at a time where other communities are divided by these very issues of race, class, and politics, the work of Mr. DeSantis has brought our community together through a topic that could easily have driven us apart. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Lafourche Parish Council, convened in regular session on November 28, 2017, we do hereby recognize and proclaim that Mr. John DeSantis and his book, The Thibodaux Massacre, have empowered the powerless, given voice to the voiceless, united all people, and are a true exercise in humanitarian virtue and principles. And on behalf of Council Chairman Corey Perilou, Council Vice Chair Lucy Esposito, and the Lafourche Parish Council, they do hereby set their signatures and have caused to be affixed the official seal of the Lafourche Parish Council, State of Louisiana, this 28th day of November, 2017, Matthews, Louisiana.
All right, congratulations to Mr. DeSantis for that proclamation. Okay, that completes Section B. Section C, presentations and/or updates. Number 5, presentation by Ms. Susan Testro-Bergeron, Director of the Barataria-Terrebonne National Estuary Program regarding Bayou False. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Name and address for the record, please.
Susan Testrode-Bergeron, 293 Millstone Drive, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I'm here to talk to you guys about a problem we're having with water quality. You should have all received a little folder that looks like this. So I want to go over a few of the issues. I want to apologize to the public. I had no idea you had such great attendance at your meetings. So I don't have a presentation for them, but we'll start with on your left. There's a presentation that talks about some of the issues and what we can do to improve the water in Lafourche Parish for our residents. We're going to talk about the Bayou Lafourche Watershed Project. If you look on page 2. Before I get into details, I want to give you a little bit of background about the Barataria-Terrebonne National Estuary Program. So if you turn over, we were formed by the Environmental Protection Agency in the 1990s. We're funded under the Clean Water Act. Our estuary is considered an estuary of national significance for several reasons. Of course, you all know we're the fastest disappearing landmass on Earth, but we also provide huge resources to the rest of the nation. We are only one of 28 national estuary programs. If you look at that map, the whole area around the coast of the U.S. has national estuary programs who are faced with similar issues. A lot of them are related to water quality. Our area goes between the Mississippi River and the Atchafalaya River. So Bayou Lafourche basically splits the Barataria-Terrebonne Basin with the Barataria Basin on the east and the Terrebonne Basin on the west. We're a little bit different than most what you think of government organizations. We have what's called a management conference, and we have 51 different agencies and organizations that act as our governing board. You're our governing board for our parish, so our governing board is run by 51 different organizations with people representing them. It's very different. Everything we do has to be based on science, but consensus-driven. So people have to agree with what we should do. So if you look on the next page, there's a picture, and probably some of the faces in there are people you might recognize from our community who are leaders. So it's not just names of organizations, it's really people who care about what we're doing. All of our work is governed by a comprehensive conservation and management plan. So this plan identifies 7 priority issues, and what's happening to our water is one of the issues. We also have 51 action items. In our action items, several of them require us to work on improving water quality. It has to do with pollutants and toxins, and how do we get things out of our estuary. Probably most of you know us from the Bayou Lafourche cleanup. You might have seen billboards. I know some of you have participated personally in the cleanup and helped us out. So that maybe you have a face of who we are and one of the things we do. But this is a little bit different project that I'm bringing to you. This is called the Bayou False Watershed Project, and it's designed to protect our watershed that's in peril. If you look at the next page, there's a map of Louisiana that shows all the watersheds in Louisiana that are impaired and need help. And there's a big pink arrow that's pointing to the area that we are most interested in Lafourche Parish. Because our office is located on the Nicholls State University campus, we want to be good neighbors, we want to be good citizens, and so we want to start here in Lafourche Parish doing what we can. We have 16 different parishes in the estuary, but we're trying to do at home first, and we've had a lot of good success. The next picture shows some of our scientists working together on this project. If you look at the next map shows the whole Barataria-Terrebonne Basin and shows all of the different impairments. Some of the impairments are prohibit fish and wildlife propagation. Some of them, we can't have primary contact. In other words, we can't swim there. Some of them we can't have secondary contact, which means you probably shouldn't be fishing or boating. We have serious problems with water quality here in the estuary. But we are trying to do the best we can to address these issues step by step. If you look down at the bottom of the map, some of our water is affecting oyster production. And oyster fisheries, we're not able to harvest oysters because of some of the problems. So what we've done is taken the Bayou Falls watershed. If you look at the map, it goes along Bayou Lafourche from Thibodaux to Raceland down to Lake Fields, and then across to the Bayou Blue Ridge. So that area of land and water is our target area. That's the area we've been working on. Different land uses can cause different problems with pollutants. So we're trying to identify what pollutants are there, what problems we have. And if you look, there's kind of a beauty shot to give you a picture of what Bayou Falls looks like. Also, some people, it's part of the 40 Arpent Canal. So if you think about what our number one problem in this watershed is, it's kind of hard to believe that this is not a third world country. Our number one problem is fecal coliform. It's bacteria. Bacteria from human waste, bacteria from cattle, and these bacteria can cause serious disease. Malfunctioning home sewage systems are some of the primary causes, and they can allow this bacteria to get into drainage ditches, to get into our surface drinking water. So this is a very real concern. There's a picture of a malfunctioning home sewage system on the next page. You get the idea that seeing problems is not a hard thing to do. So just a visual inspection can sometimes let you know that there's a problem. The next page shows cattle getting directly into the Bayou Falls. Another problem is low dissolved oxygen and nutrients. If you turn to the next page, you'll see even some things found near our drinking water intake that looks like crawfish and a dead pig. Okay, those things are real. This is a picture that was taken by our scientists. So we still have more education that we need to do. Again, near the drinking water intake, it's just trash. It's just people dumping their trash. So we know that we need to keep educating people about the fact that we get our drinking water from surface water, from our bayous. So we started on this project. We have brought to bear money to the parish. This hasn't cost the parish anything. We've been doing work at no cost to the parish. I'll show you a little financial thing as we go on here. We have phase one, which is water quality education. And then the second phase is water sampling. So you see pictures of our scientists here working with some students. Then we see not only working with students, but working with adults, because it's not little kids who are probably putting that stuff in a bayou. So we do work with adults. We even go out to festivals. We go to festivals and we talk to people about what's going on. Our scientists have a plan. They've been working with the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. So they have a plan of exactly where they're testing. DEQ, the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, came to us and said, look, we know where some of the hot spots are. We want you to start testing so that we'll have the data. We've been collecting data for 1 year. So now that we feel that we're science-based, we have 1 year of data, we want to know where we're heading next. So we've got all that data. If anybody needs to see it, we have it. And then we go out and we do water sampling. So what the water sampling looks like, this page, it's a sewage sampler that they stick in the bayou. They pull back water, and then we take it into New Orleans and have it tested. And they're finding fecal coliform. Okay, so we know this has happened. This scientist is testing with a Secchi disc, which tells you how much sediments are in the water. So that there are 7 parameters that we're testing for. I'm not going to go over all of those, but there are water standards. This bayou is not meeting water standards. The standards are there for your review. So they're not meeting standards for fishing and swimming, but we know people are for sure fishing there. So we want to be sure that you're aware of the problem. Now, the next map actually shows areas that we think we need to start looking at the home sewage systems. Each little dot shows you a place that could be contributing to the problem. So what we've been trying to do is to put together a bunch of partners to help us solve the problem, and then our senior water quality coordinator, Mr. Andrew Barron, has been out actively seeking funds. He recently received a $450,000 grant from EPA to actually help partner with low-income families who need to get their sewage system repaired. And what we would do is we would do a 50-50 cost share with the homeowner. So up to $1,000. So if you needed a $2,000 repair on your home sewage system, we would, if they would be willing to do it, they would pay the money, they would bring us the bill, we could pay up to half of that. So we now have funds available to help the public. So that's why we haven't been here yet. We don't want to come and bring you problems. We know you got plenty of that. We want to come and bring you solutions. So that's, the next picture shows the fact this is what we want people to do. We want people to be out fishing. We want people to be enjoying our estuary. So this phase 2 is a focused, organized plan to address the problems in the area. We don't want to make the news for us not doing things. Everybody knows those stories. Those make big national news. We're happy not to make big news. We want to solve the problem. We don't need all the big news. We want to solve the problem. So this home sewage assistance program is designed to help our local residents and to actually solve the problem. If we can show success in this small contained watershed, we can use this throughout the rest of the estuary. If we're successful in 2 or 3 places, we can take this model to the other 28 national estuary programs. We are not the only people having this problem. We're just honest about it. We all work together. We all know each other. We're not ashamed to say, hey, look, we got a problem. Let's fix it. So we're going to continue monitoring as we go through these home sewage replacements. So what happens is we'll work with the citizens. We'll go out and we will do a visual inspection. We're not going to touch any of their equipment. We don't want to tamper. We want to look at it and say, you know, I think you have a problem with, you probably need to call somebody. We're not going to do more than that. We're not going to, and then when they call someone who's certified, they will fix it, and then they will bring us the receipt, and we'll be able to share that with them. So if you look at the next page, that's your money sheet. So that shows you the kind of money that we've brought so far. So in 2017, we have brought to the parish $128,000 to work on this program. In 2008, we anticipate $388,000. We did get these grants that will get us through. So you're talking about $1.3 million that we can bring to this problem to solve it. But we need your help. We've got a bunch of partners on this. If you look on the other side, there's a bunch of letters of support. So we've got a bunch of other partners, which has been great. But now we need y'all as a partner. There's only so far we can go without you. So the next page is a bunch of text, but we need to go over it. We need your help with outreach and education. The parish reaches people that maybe the estuary program doesn't. You have a website. Maybe we could work with some of your web people and get this message out to the public. We don't want them to question why we're doing it. This is just to improve water quality. We need your support. We need sort of a, yes, we're supporting the Barataria-Terrebonne National Estuary Program's sewage surveys and homeowner education. We want your support in saying, yes, we want you to go out and cost share with these families. We want people to be able to get their money. We need that vote of confidence from you all. And then what we'd like to do is to either contract with Lafourche Parish, or maybe if they could make a BITNEP employee appointed to go out and look at people's sewage systems. These are, again, visual surveys. We're going to go and look, and then we'll provide information. It's really interesting when you do these. The neighbors find out about it, which is good, and people start saying, hey, I don't want my sewage going into where I want to fish. So the last few pages are just to show you what we know people do here. We know they come to paddle, and actually, Bayou Falls is an awesome paddle trip because there are very few boats back there. So it's a good ecotourism. It's a way to generate funds. We want people who come and volunteer with us to know that we are doing our very best to protect the water. And of course, we want to keep catching big fish. So that second to last page is a kind of a big fish to show you, yeah, we still have them and we want to catch them and we want to eat them. I want to kind of leave you with this before I take your questions. This is a quote by Lori Waikiki. It says, I feel like I know a few things. And one that's important is that we have to be strong enough to continue to love and care about the generations to come in a way our ancestors have done for us. So what we're doing here is looking forward. We're trying to make some changes. So I put my contact information in there if you have questions, but I also want to introduce Mr. Andrew Barron, if he could come up, who is our Senior Water Quality Coordinator. He's the guy who's brought $1.3 million to the parish, so this is the guy you need to thank. And then Ms. Siva Nuna, if you could come up. Siva is our water quality scientist. This is the lady you see on the side of the road, checking all the water, putting in the sewage sampler to find out what's going on. So these two are sort of the great brains that we are lucky enough to have. So I wanted to ask your permission to kind of move forward on this. What you also see in here is a memorandum of agreement that maybe just as a model, something maybe we could work out with the parish government. So I guess what I'm asking today is can we move forward? And if you have any questions for us before you say anything.
Mr. Bourgeois.
How you doing, ma'am? I actually represent the area that you're talking about, Bayou Falls. And I'm actually going to acknowledge Mr. Otan because he grew up on Bayou Falls. And between the two of us, we have 60-odd years of Bayou Falls experience, you know, going back to the 60s. I appreciate what you're doing. My sons kayak and fish Bayou Falls, Bayou DeMar, Lake Fields, what have you. I know Mr. Otan's family does. One of the problems we're facing is that it's about 2 feet above sea level. And since Katrina, everything has to be 6 foot above sea level. You have $9,000 here for low-income sewage assistance, is what you have for 2017.
If I could clarify that?
Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Andrew Barron. I work for the Barataria-Terrebonne National Estuary Program. I'm the Senior Water Resources Coordinator, and I live at 270 Carriageway in Thibodaux, Louisiana.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And if you also notice in that budget sheet, down near the bottom, there's also another homeowner assistance program, which will be used for low-income assistance, and that's at the tune of $426,000 in addition to the $9,000, just to clarify. Sorry.
One of the things I want to talk about is with state LRA, Louisiana Recovery Authority, what have you. Post-Katrina, all sewer treatment plants, everything has to be 6 feet above sea level. So if you're going to retrofit it to follow the state health department guidelines, you literally have to elevate your house. They pay, what, 75% of that. You have to have everything 6 foot. I'm all for helping Bayou Falls, Bayou DeMar, but the other state regulations make a lot of this impossible because to put a new sewage treatment plant in your house, you have to raise everything. You have to raise your house. You have to raise your sewer treatment plant. You have to raise the pump. All of these things have to be raised, all in the name of recovery, all in post-Katrina. I'm saying this because I live there. I know it. I hear my neighbors. Everyone wants to make Bayou Falls, Bayou DeMar, which to me, Bayou Falls and Bayou DeMar are the same place. Yes, everyone wants to make it better. But the problem of it is that when you have federal bureaucracy, state bureaucracy that prevent all of this, I appreciate you coming saying, hey, we'll help you do all of that. We have trouble getting new pumps. We have trouble getting all kinds of other different things because the federal government has said, if you're less than 6 feet above sea level, we can't help you. And I appreciate what you're going. I'm for you. I want to help you. But I'm just letting you know something that's near and dear to my heart, and Mr. Otan as well knows that 6 foot number makes a lot of what you're doing impossible. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but people that want to retrofit, people that want to increase, you know, their sewer things, the federal government, FEMA, flood insurance, they won't let you. And I just want to make you aware of that.
Mr. Bourgeois, I really appreciate you telling me about that. I was not aware of those regulations. But what we're going to try and do is we're going to do homeowner assistance really for maintenance. If there's a malfunctioning system there, so for instance, if someone's pump, our assumption is that most people don't even realize they might be having sewage problems. And so we're going to try and go in and just try to talk to them and educate them about it. so that they can get the tanks pumped out, to get the motor fixed, to do all those sorts of maintenance things that I do not think would require elevating the house or the sewage system. Because it's not like, as my understanding is that those dwellings are grandfathered in as long as there's not a change of ownership, okay? And I'm assuming, again, that's a big assumption, I'm assuming that these regulations would kick in if the house changed hands from one owner to another. What we're talking about is just maintenance on that home sewage system. And again, I don't think those federal regulations would kick in for that type of maintenance.
And like I said, I'm willing to work with you. I'm just letting you know, I understand the problem, and I know Mr. Otan understands it very well. And it's just a bigger problem. And I'm just saying that we're you're asking for money to do stuff that I know he and I very much believe in.
No, sir, we are not asking for any money. We're asking
Support.
for a partnership. We just want a partnership with Lafourche Parish. That is all we're asking for. We are bringing money to Lafourche Parish. We're not taking any money from Lafourche Parish.
I stand corrected. I'm saying that. We want to help you. We want to do that. We want to comply. It's just that there seems to be a lot of bureaucracy. I know, I'm sure he's aware of it. There's a lot of other bureaucracy that's stopping the homeowners. It's not the lack of desire or different things like that. There's a huge bureaucracy of why you can't do it with elevations and all of that kind of neat stuff. It's a subject near and dear to my heart. I'm passionate about it. And I'm just saying that we're on board with that, but I just want to make you aware of all the bureaucracies of state health department, federal government, and different things in making some of these changes.
If I can comment, the Department of Health has written a letter of support for us to get moving. Department of Environmental Quality has a letter of support. USDA, Natural Resource Conservation. There's a whole bunch of letters in there for you to look at. But I appreciate you bringing that to us because we didn't know that. But yeah, we have some letters so they know what we're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Melvin.
Thank you all for coming, because as y'all are well aware, one of the major factors in the level of, first, second, third world, of course, is water quality. By chance, did y'all do any testing in the Dugas Canal in Thibodaux?
No, sir, we don't specifically sample in that particular location.
Okay, so there didn't seem to be a problem to call for a sampling, correct?
We test, of course, like the 40-Arpent Canal, Bayou Cutoff, as well as Bayou Falls. And so we're collecting water that drains into the 40-Arpent Canal from Bayou, the Dubois Canal, sorry.
Dugas, yeah.
Dugas Canal,
So,
sorry.
so nothing, no?
Well, at each of the sampling stations, we're finding some significant problems with, of course, fecal coliform, with nutrients, with dissolved oxygen, all of these various parameters that we're collecting.
In the 40, you say?
I'm sorry, throughout our sampling sites. So we sample from up in Thibodaux all the way down to near Company Canal and Lockport. And so we're finding problems across all of those stations.
Okay.
All of them.
All right, thank you.
Just to be clear.
Thanks. Mr. Otan.
Yeah, I want to just thank y'all for the presentation. Thank y'all for what y'all doing. I've been heavily involved with the estuary since the 80s, and I was ecstatic when Beatnip came around and obviously right there at Nichols. My first Bachelor of Science, I majored in marine biology, so I was at Nichols. So you can imagine I was very involved in the estuary. But I'm glad that y'all are partnered with both DEQ, which I know we have the local water guys are here, and I know they do go and visit the businesses with respect to the spikes, and as well as LDHH. So I'm glad y'all have the right partners. What I would request, Mr. Chairman, is that we draft a letter in support of this program, and if the administration would be so kind as to post it on the website, that would be great.
Thank you,
I'll
Mr.
second that,
Otan.
Mr. Chairman.
It's a suggestion, not a motion. Ms. Esposito.
What a great presentation. I wish more people could see that. Like on HTV or Vision Cable, I wish people could see billboards of this.
Yeah, and we're happy to give it to you digitally so you can post it on your website.
And we all have, a lot of us have personal Facebook pages.
Yes, ma'am,
but
I'll send it to you.
if you had billboards, I know a lot of companies, maybe billboard companies, just this with the dead, I wish you all could see it, well, this one with the dead pig and the crawfish, don't pollute our drinking water, would be great billboards, and some billboard companies may offer you that when they don't have another customer online. But thank you all for coming. I appreciate what you're doing. I fully support anything and everything that you all do. I'm grateful for all your efforts, and if there's anything I can do, I certainly will.
Well, thank you very much.
I'd like to follow with one more question. The testing that you guys do that affects Bayou Lafourche, are you in contact or in discussions with the Lafourche Parish Water District about what you're finding in our drinking source? Yeah, please.
Yeah, we have a BitNet Management Conference, and the Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District is on the management conference. So they are aware of what's going on. We work with Ben Mombrou mostly. So that group is aware. I think we've tried hard not to say anything until we had a year's worth of data. We're science-driven, so we wanted that data before we did anything. But we're trying to share this with as many people as we can. We want the public to know. They've done teacher workshops over the summer and said, hey, look, this is what we're doing. We're trying to get the local people to understand how serious this problem is.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's it as far as questions. We appreciate you being here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I think Ms. Esposito, did you have a motion to move into executive session? Is that the plan?
Yes, I think that's what the
Administration? Is that what we're
administration-
expecting to do?
Need to move into executive session now?
Okay.
If that's not on the,
It's not on the agenda, it's from the floor, so, and it's to discuss, from what I understand, to discuss the Choctaw levy situation with the attorney that's representing the parish, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, Ms. Esposito makes the motion, can we get a second? Mr. Grove seconds it, any, discussion on this? If not, we'll move it to a vote, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? 801. What are the names? I think I saw we need to make public the names of the participants. Do you have that? Anyone aside from the council members and Mr. Cantrell that's going to be in the executive session, Mr. Haas?
In addition, it will be myself, Lafourche Parish Administrator, Project Manager Tommy Lassane. We're going to have Risk Manager Brent Abady, and then our lawyer representing us in this matter, which is Alex Prochesko.
Okay, thank you. So, you will as well? Okay, thank you. Can we get a motion to reconvene? Ms. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 9-0. Okay, so the motion to go into executive session for the following. Executive session pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217A2, United States Environmental Protection Agency Region 6, in the matter of Lafourche Parish Government, docket number CWA 06-2015-XXXX. The motion by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. And now we will go to Section B of this for action from executive session.
I'd like to deviate to item number 22.
Resolution item number 22.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reiterate my objection to the executive session. Just make sure it made the record.
Okay,
I
Mr. Bourgeois objected to the executive session.
No, I objected to certain members of the people going into the executive session.
Who'd you object to?
The district attorney's office, they're not representing us as attorney.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking for number 22. I'm sorry, bear with me here. You have it ready? Okay.
22, you said?
Yes, this is the one. Okay, motion by Ms. Esposito.
22.
Can we get a second to deviate to 22? Mr. Jones, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 9-0. So the resolution number is 22 on this. A resolution approving a contract between Lafourche Parish Government and Picciolo and Associates, Inc. for the engineering services for the project entitled Choctaw Levee Rehabilitation and Permitting, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any further discussion on this? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Get a motion to reestablish. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 9-0. We're picking up where we left off now in Section D, 2018 budget amendments. Just to let you all know what this is all about, we're going to be running through some budget amendments for the 2018 operations and maintenance and capital budgets. So this may take a little time. Last night we had a meeting. We went through 160 of them, and it took under 3 hours. And tonight we don't have nearly that many. So that's where we're at right now. So amendment number 161 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Otam, second by Ms. Esposito. Provide additional funding for solid waste fund, general fund, human resources, 001-41505, decrease in in-state mileage in the amount of $309.73, increase in transfer out in the amount of $309.73. Solid waste fund, 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $309.73, increase in utilities waste collection, 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $309.73. It was moved by Mr. Otam, seconded by Mr. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Nay is Mr. Lorraine. Amendment 162 in the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Provide additional funding for the solid waste fund. General fund, human resources, 001-41505, decrease in professional development in the amount of $2,137.50, increase in transfer out in the amount of $2,137.50. Solid waste fund, 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $2,137.50, increase in utilities waste collection, 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $2,137.50. This was moved by Mr. Lafont and second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 163 of the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Grow. Provide additional funding for solid waste fund. General fund, human resources, 001-41505, decrease in dues in the amount of $264, increase in transfer out in the amount of $264. Solid waste fund, 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $264, increase in utilities waste collection, 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $264. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Grow. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 164 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Mr. Grow, second by Mrs. Esposito. Provide additional funding for the solid waste fund. General fund, human resources, 001-41505. Decrease in liability in the amount of $858. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $858. Solid waste fund, 104-3200. Increase in transfer in the amount of $858. Increase in utilities waste collection, 107-43200. 442101 in the amount of $858. Moved by Mr. Gross, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Amendment 165 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Provide additional funding for the solid waste fund. General fund, human resources, 001-41505, decrease in rental equipment in the amount of $3555. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $3555. Solid waste fund, 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $3555. Increase in utilities waste collection, 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $3555. Moved by Mr. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 166 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Someone move for me, please. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Provide additional funding for the solid waste fund. General Fund Human Resources, 00141-505, decrease in service contracts in the amount of $3,992.52. Increase and transfer out in the amount of $3,992.52. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase and transfer in the amount of $3,992.52. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $3,992.52. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 167 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Human Resources, 00141-505, decrease in labs in the amount of $65. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $65. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $65. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $65. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 168 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Melvin. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Human Resources, 00141-505, decrease in drug screening in the amount of $1,485.14. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $1,485.14. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $1,485.14. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $1,485.14. Moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 169 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otan. Provide additional funding for Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Human Resources, 00141-505. Decrease in consult in the amount of $1,000. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $1,000. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $1,000. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $1,000. Motion by Mr. Lafont and second by Mr. Otan. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 170 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Jones. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Property and Risk Management 00141-504. Decrease in postage in the amount of $99.70. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $99.70. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200. Increase in transfer in the amount of $99.70. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $99.70. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 171 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets. Moved by Mr. Groh. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Property and Risk Management 00141-504. Decrease in gas in the amount of $199.90. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $199.90. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200. Increase in transfer in the amount of $199.90. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $199.90. Moved by Mr. Gross, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 172 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Property and Risk Management 00141-504. Decrease in sub-vehicle in the amount of $250. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $250. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200. Increase in transfer in the amount of $250. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200. 442101 in the amount of $250. Moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Is that one nay? Nay, all right, passes 7-2. Amendment 173 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Someone move for me, please. Mrs. Esposito moves, Mr. Jones seconds. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Property and Risk Management, 00141504, decrease in supplies. 00141504-461, 0001437, in the amount of $1,662.38. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $1,662.38. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $1,662.38. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200-442101 in the amount of $1,662.38. That was moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 174 to the 2018 operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Otan. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Property and Risk Management, 00141504, decrease in supplies in the amount of $774.09. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $774.09. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $774.09. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200-442101 in the amount of $774.09. That was moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 175, to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Melvin. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund, General Fund Property and Risk Management, 00141504, decrease in OT state lodging in the amount of $475.08. Increase in transfer out in the amount of $475.08. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $475.08. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200-442101 in the amount of $475.08. Moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 176 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otan. Provide additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund. General Fund Property and Risk Management, 504, decrease in OT state meals in the amount of $153, increase in transfer out in the amount of $153. Solid Waste Fund 107-43200, increase in transfer in the amount of $153, increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200-442101 in the amount of $153. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 177 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Someone move for me, please. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Deobligate capital project and return monies to the General Fund 001 in 2018 project detail. Fund 299, capital projects. Decrease in capital project code 15009, data and telephone network upgrade in the amount of $96,140.87. Increase in transfer out to the General Fund 001 miscellaneous in the amount of $96,140.87. Deobligated capital project and return monies back to the General Fund 001. Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 178 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Otam. Include additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund in 2018 project details. Fund 001, General Fund, decrease and transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $96,140.87. Increase and transfer out 107 in the amount of $96,140.87. Fund 107, Solid Waste, increase and transfer in the amount of $96,140.87. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200-442101 in the amount of $96,140.87. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 179 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Lafont. Deobligate capital project and return monies to Royalty 108 in 2018 project detail. Fund 299, capital projects, decrease in capital project code 18010, animal shelter medical suite building in the amount of $40,000. Increase and transfer out to Royalty Fund 108, miscellaneous in the amount of $40,000. Deobligate a capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108. Moved by Mr. Otam, second by Mr. Lafont. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 180 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Include additional funding for the solid waste fund in 2018 project detail. Fund 108 royalty. Decrease in, transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $40,000. Increase in, transfer out 107 in the amount of $40,000. Fund 107 solid waste. Increase in, transfer in the amount of $40,000. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $40,000. Motion by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 181 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Grow. Include funding for the Animal Shelter Medical Suite Building Project in 2018 project details 2018-102, Building Maintenance Fund. Fund 102, Building Maintenance, increase and transfer out capital outlay 299 in the amount of $40,000. Fund 299 capital project, increase and transfer in the amount of $40,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of $40,000 to provide additional funding for the Animal Shelter Medical Suite Building Project. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. All right, I believe coming up on 182, this is one that has an amendment to the amendment.
I'd like to change the amount from 177 to 177,101 throughout.
So from 177 to 177,101?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's open it. Amendment number 182 to 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Moved by Mr. Grow, second by Mr. Lafont. Deobligate capital project and return monies to Royalty 108 in 2018 project detail. Fund 299 capital projects, decrease in capital project code 14038, drainage projects for districts in the amount of $177,000. I'm going to read it first and then do the amendment, correct? Increase and transfer out to Royalty Fund 108 miscellaneous in the amount of $177,000. Deobligate a capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108. We have an amendment from the floor, changing the total number from $177,000 to $177,101. So it will read decrease in capital project code 14038 drainage projects for districts in the amount of $177,101. Increase and transfer out to the Royalty Fund 108 miscellaneous in the amount of $177,101. Deobligate a capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108. Amendment to Amendment 182 brought by Mr. Groh, second by Mr. Lafont. We're voting on the amended version. On the amendment itself, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. And now we're going to... You did vote? For the amendment. Okay. That's odd. Now we're going to vote on Amendment 182 as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes anyway, 7-2. Amendment 183 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Moved by Mrs. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones.
I have an amendment to it.
Okay, what is the change?
Where it says 177,000, we need 177,101.
Okay, across the board?
Yes.
All right, well, first we'll read as written. Include additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund in 2018 Project Detail Fund 108, royalty decrease and transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $177,000. Increase and transfer out 107 in the amount of $177,000. Fund 107, Solid Waste, increase and transfer in the amount of $177,000. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $177,000. We have an amendment from the floor, which will read as following. Decrease and transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $177,101. Increase and transfer out 107 in the amount of $177,101. Fund 107 Solid Waste, increase and transfer in the amount of $177,101. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $177,101. We're going to vote on the amendment itself. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. And now we're going to vote on Amendment 183 as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. All right, amendment number 184 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets. Can someone move for me? Moved by Mr. Otan, seconded by Mr. Melvin. This will also have an amendment from the floor. Will you be prepared to provide that? Okay. I will read it as written. First, deobligate the capital project and return monies to Royalty 108 in 2018 project detail. Fund 299 capital projects. Decrease in capital project code 17000 DPW vehicles in the amount of $74,014.47. Increase and transfer out to the Royalty Fund 108 miscellaneous in the amount of $74,014.47. Deobligated capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108. So you're going to make the motion to amend it? Second by Mr. Melvin. It will now read, decrease in capital project code 17000 DPW vehicles in the amount of $52,814.47. Increase and transfer out to Royalty Fund 108 miscellaneous in the amount of $52,814.47. Deobligated capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108. First, we vote on the amendment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. And now we're going to vote on amendment number 184 as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 185 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Otam. Include additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund in 2018 project detail, Fund 108 royalty. Decrease and transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $74,014.47. Increase and transfer out 107 in the amount of $74,014.47. Fund 107 Solid Waste. Increase and transfer in the amount of $74,014.47. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $74,014.47. And
Mr. Perillo, I have an amendment for this. We're going to replace $74,014.47 and replace it with $52,814.47.
second by Mr. Otam. First, I'll read it as amended. Decrease and transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $52,814.47. Increase and transfer out 107 in the amount of $52,814.47. Fund 107 Solid Waste. Increase and transfer in the amount of $52,814.47. Increase in Utilities Waste Collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $52,814.47. First, we vote on the amended version. On the amendment itself, moved by Mr. Grove. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otam. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Now we're going to vote on the amended version of Amendment 185. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 186 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Otam. Second by Mr. Lafont. Deobligate capital project and return monies to Royalty 108 in 2018. Project detail, Fund 299 capital projects. Decrease in capital project code 17001 DPW equipment in the amount of $244,332.67. Increase in transfer out to Royalty Fund 108 miscellaneous in the amount of $244,332.67. Deobligate a capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108.
I have an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we replace $244,332.67 with $106,386.22.
Okay. Second by Mr. Melvin. So I'll read it as amended. Decrease in capital project code 17001 DPW equipment in the amount of $106,386.22. Increase in transfer out to Royalty Fund 108 miscellaneous in the amount of $106,386.22. Deobligate a capital project and return monies back to Royalty Fund 108. First, we're going to vote on the amendment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Now we're going to vote on amendment number 186 as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 187 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Otam. Include additional funding for the solid waste fund in 2018 project detail. Fund 108 royalty. Decrease transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $244,332.67. Increase in transfer out 107 in the amount of $244,332.67. Fund 107 solid waste, increase in transfer in the amount of $244,332.67. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $244,332.67.
I have an amendment, sir.
Okay, what's the amendment?
I need to replace 244-332.67 with 106-386.22 in all
Second
spots.
that, Mr. Otam. Okay, so as amended, it would read, decrease in transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $106,386.22. Increase in transfer out 107 in the amount of $106,386.22. Fund 107 solid waste, increase in transfer in the amount of $106,386.22. Increase in utilities waste collection 107-43200, 442101 in the amount of $106,386.22. First, we're going to vote on the amendment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Now we're going to vote on amendment number 187 as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 188 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budgets, moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. Deobligate capital project and return monies to the Solid Waste Fund 107 in 2018 project detail. Fund 299, capital projects, decrease in capital project code 17011, cameras pump station, in the amount of $250,000. Increase in transfer out to the BP Oil Spill Fund 801, miscellaneous in the amount of $250,000. Deobligate a capital project and return monies back to BP Oil Spill Fund 801. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Mr. Lafont, you have something?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Mrs. Esposito, you want to pick up for me on 189?
$189 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Councilman Gross, second by. Second by Councilman Jones. Include additional funding for the Solid Waste Fund in 2018 project detailed. Fund 801 BP oil spill, decrease in transfer and miscellaneous in the amount of $250,000 and an increase in transfer out 107 in the amount of $250,000. Fund 107 Solid Waste, increase in transfer in the amount of $250,000 Increase in utilities waste collection 10743200442-101 in the amount of $250,000, moved by Councilman Gross, second by Councilman Jones. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-2. I'm going to need to pull the next one. Do I have to have someone pull that for me, Ms. Carney?
You pulling
190.
190?
Does someone need to do that? Can someone pull that for me? Councilman Jones is going to pull that for me.
So 190 is pulled, and I'm going to pull amendment number 191.
Okay. Amendment 192 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Councilman Melvin, second by
Second.
Councilman Paraloo, deobligate capital project and return monies to royalty 108 in 2018 project detail. Fund 299, capital projects, decrease in capital project code 13023, South Lafourche beachfront development in the amount of $275,000. Increase in transfer out to the royalty fund 108, miscellaneous in the amount of $275. Deobligated capital project and return monies to the royalty fund 108. Moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Councilman Paraloo. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment 193 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Councilman Otas, second by Councilman Grow. Include additional funding for the solid waste fund in the 2018 project detail fund 108 royalty, decrease in transfer in miscellaneous in the amount of $275, increase in transfer out 107, amount of $275. Fund 107 solid waste, increase in transfer in the amount of $275,000. Increase in utilities waste collection 1043200442101 in the amount of $275,000. Moved by Councilman Otas, second by Councilman Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 194 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Grow. Include additional funding for the Central Lafourche satellite voting location in 2018 project detail, 2018 108 royalty fund, Fund 108 royalty, increase in transfer out to the capital outlay 299 in the amount of $27,000. Fund 299 capital project, increase in transfer in an amount of $27,000, increase in capital outlay in the amount of $27,000 to provide additional funding for the Central Lafourche satellite voting location, moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You said aye?
Oh,
That's a 9-0 tonight.
it passed 9-0. Um, 195 needs an amendment. Who has that?
I do. You might want to read the original first.
Okay, as written, Amendment 195 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Jones, to return monies to the BP All Spill Fund 801. Councilman Paraloo, Fund 001, General Fund, decreased transfer in other revenue in the amount of $1,604,056.61. Fund 801, BP All Spill, decreased transfer out miscellaneous in the amount of $1,604,056.61. Moved by Councilman, do I read the amendment now?
Yeah, the change on Fund 108, BPR spill, want to change the number from $1,604,056.61 and replace it with $1,319,897.16. Got that?
Is that a different amount than what you just showed me? I need a different amount. I have a different amount on this one.
$1,319,897.16.
Okay, that's not what's on here though, right?
I think he's got other stuff.
This is the amended number.
Okay, so everywhere, where's the other number, it changes to this, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, as amended, Amendment 195 to the 2018 proposed operating budget. to return monies to the BP Oil Spill Fund 801, Corey Perilou, Fund 001, General Fund, decreased transfer in other revenue in the amount of $1,319,897.16. Fund 801, BP Oil Spill, decreased transfer out miscellaneous in the amount of $1,319,897.16. Moved by Councilman
Did someone second my amendment?
Jones. Reggie, can you come up here and explain? That's not what's on here.
These two have two different numbers.
This is the right one.
Okay, so the one you just read is the correct one.
But he's got to read all of this, increase and transfer in from Fund 107. All of that is to be changed, am I right?
Do you have the same copy?
Okay,
You read mine, use mine.
so start here and all the way down. Okay, the amendment, 195 to the 2018 proposed operating budget, maintenance capital budget, Corey Perilou, to return, delete monies, replacing with funding to the BP All Spill Fund, 801, delete. Delete's not part of this
Delete the
text.
word monies and replace with funding to the BPR spill fund 801.
Let's do the lead after.
Okay. To return monies replacing with funding to the BP All Spill Fund 801. Fund and replace with 107 solid waste.
It's taking out decreased transfer in other revenue.
Decrease transfer and other revenue and replace with increase in transfer out utilities waste collection 107-43200-442101 to Fund 801 in the amount of
It's taking out that number and replacing it with
$1,319,897.16.
I'll move on that amendment.
Moved by Councilman Perilou, second by Jones.
second part of it. Fund 801, I'm going to read that one too, it's part of Fund.
Fund 801, BP All Spill. See, some of this is,
He's deleting decreased transfer. And replacing it
oh, increase in transfer in from Fund 107.
and deleting the word miscellaneous. And putting the amount of
In the amount of $1,319,897.16. Adding increase in BP All Spill Fund Balance 801 in the amount of $1,319,897.16. All right. That was moved by Perilou, second by Jones. That's the amendment. Vote on the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes
8-1.
8-1? Okay. Now,
As amended.
I'll have to read it
Vote
again.
on amendment 195 as amended.
All right, Amendment 195 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
7-2.
Passes 7-2. Jeez, we don't have a lot more of those.
that was the hardest one, I think.
Yeah, that was.
That was the worst one? I hope so. Amendment 196 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Can someone move for me? Councilman Perilou, second by. Councilman Grow, include additional funding for the Eric Street Kramer Pump Project at 2018 Project Detail 2018-104 Drainage Fund, Fund 104 Drainage. Increase in transfer out to Capital Outlay 299 in the amount of $80,000. Fund 299 Capital Project, increase in transfer in the amount of $80,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of $80,000 to provide additional funding for the Eric Street Kramer Pump Project. As moved by Councilman Perilou, second by Councilman Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 197 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Can someone move for me?
I'll move.
Moved by Councilman Perilou, second by Councilman Jones. Include drainage funding for the Sugar Ridge East B Drainage Project in 2018 Project Detail 2018-104 Drainage Fund, Fund 104 Drainage. Increase in transfer out to Capital Outlay 299 in an amount of $100,000 from Fund 299 Capital Project. Increase in transfer in the amount of $100,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of $100,000 to provide additional funding for the Sugar Ridge East B Drainage Project. It's moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 198 to 2018, proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Can someone move for me?
I'll move.
Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Otan. Include funding for the widening of Highway 20 Bayou Chevelle project in 2018, project detail 2018-108 royalty fund, Fund 108 royalty, increase and transfer out to capital outlay 299 in the amount of 81,000. Fund 299 capital project, increase and transfer in the amount of 81,000, increase in capital outlay in the amount of 81,000 to provide additional funding for the widening of Highway 20 project. Widening of Highway 20 project, moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 199 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Can someone move for me?
Move.
Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Jones. Include funding for speed calming devices in 2018 project detail 2018-108 royalty fund, Fund 108 royalty, increase and transfer out to capital outlay 299 in the amount of $50,000. Fund 299 capital project, increase and transfer in the amount of $50,000, increase in capital outlay in the amount of $50,000 to provide funding for speed calming device. Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Jones. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
9-0.
1. 8-1.
Who was the nay?
Councilman Otan being the
Otan.
one. Amendment number 2 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance. Amendment 200 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Can someone move for me? Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Melvin. Include funding for the Bayou Buff Ballpark Restroom Project in 2018 detail 2018-110 Recreation Fund, Fund 110 Recreation, increase and transfer out to capital outlay 299 in the amount of 80,000. Fund 299 Capital Project, increase and transfer in the amount of 80,000, increase in capital outlay in the amount of 80,000 to provide additional funding for the Bayou Buff Ballpark Restroom Project. Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes
8-1.
8-1. Amendment 201 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Can someone move for me? Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Otan. Deobligate capital project and return monies to Recreation 110 in 2018 project detail Fund 299 capital projects. Decrease in capital project code 15035, purchase land at Bill Taylor Boat Launch in the amount of $100,000. Increase and transfer out to Recreation Fund 110 miscellaneous in the amount of $100,000. Deobligated capital project and return monies back to Recreation Fund 110. Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 9-1, 9-0. Amendment number 201 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. 202 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget. Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Grow. Include funding for the Chack Bay Community Center project in 2018 detail 2018-110 Recreation Fund, Fund 110 Recreation, increase and transfer out to capital outlay 299 in the amount of $100,000. Fund 299 Capital Project, increase and transfer in the amount of $100,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of $100,000 to provide additional funding for the Chack Bay Community Center project. Moved by Councilman Paraloo, second by Councilman Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Amendment number 203 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget. Amendment to the ordinance to adopt the 2018 operating and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of the unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by
Second.
second by Councilman Paraloo. That's each thing. So the from and the to. Have to read the from and the to? Okay. Council Clerk, from $33.30 per hour to $33.428125 per hour, 80 hours a week. Oh, that's $2,663.91 biweekly to $2,674.25 biweekly. $69,264 annually to $69,530.50 annually. Legislative auditor from $33.65 per hour to $653,846 per hour, from $2,692.32 biweekly to $2,692.31 biweekly, from $69,992 annually to $70,000 annually. Total deleting $139,256 and changing it to $139,530.50. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Parallel. Any discussion?
Is that right? Because you put it more on one, but then it's less on the bi-weekly. See what I'm saying? 33,
It went down a penny on the biweekly.
269.
Go ahead, Ms. Carlene. Ms. Carlene?
Ms. Vice Chair, may I speak?
Sure.
In speaking with the HR department, one of the members of the HR department gave us the correct numbers. That's why the auditor and myself, all of this is changing. All of our numbers were wrong on the ordinance. We had to match what the numbers were in Munis, which is a system that records and does all of our work for this. And so it does look strange. I agree. I questioned it 2 or 3 times. I questioned it with our finance director as well, and he was very helpful in getting us to get this together. So it is correct as it is, although it's a penny less. When we change the biweekly, it changes it to 70,000, which is where he needs to be. It sounds strange, it looks strange, but that's the way it was explained to me.
It's gonna come out to $70,000.06.
That is correct, and they can't pay him more than 70,000 because that's what y'all hired him at.
Well, we need to put that 6 cents in here.
We can't.
Because you can't pay him the
'Cause you
6
can't
cents,
pay him the
just
6 cents.
70,000.
Well, that bi-weekly wrong then. Wow.
I'll give him 6 cents.
All right.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 9-0. Amendment number 204 to the 2018 proposed operating, maintenance, and capital budget, moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Melvin. Fund the internal auditor salary, executive general fund 00141502, decrease in salaries and benefits in the amount of $32,879. Legislative general fund 00141100, increase in salaries and benefits in the amount of $32,879. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 7-2. Amendment number 205 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget, moved by Councilman Jones, second by
Second.
Councilman Parallel. Fund the internal auditor clerk's salary, community services, general fund 00144400, decrease in salaries and benefits in the amount of $16,250. Legislative general fund 00141100, increase in salaries and benefits in the amount of $16,250. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Parallel. Any discussion? Mr. Lafont, you have something?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 7-2.
You wanna break?
Amendment number 206 to the 2018 proposed operating, maintenance, and capital budget, moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Parallel. Fund the internal auditor clerk salary, building and maintenance 102, decrease in salaries and benefits in the amount of $16,250, increase in miscellaneous, transfer out in the amount of $16,250. Legislative general fund 00141100, increase in salaries and benefits in the amount of $16,250, increase in other revenue, transfer in the amount of $16,250. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Parallel. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 8-1. Amendment number 207 to the 2018 proposed operating, maintenance, and capital budget, moved by Councilman Jones, second by
Second.
Councilman Parallel. Provide funding for Maridale Head Start, building and maintenance fund 102, increase in miscellaneous, transfer out in the amount of $30,000. Capital outlay 299, increase in capital outlay in the amount of 30,000, increase in other revenue transfer in the amount of 30,000. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Parallel. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 9-0.
Lucy, you need a break?
That's okay. I mean, you
Good.
can let somebody else.
LaFont, you want to read a few?
Let me get my other eyes out though. Amendment 208, right?
Yes, sir.
Amendment number 208 to 2018 proposed budget operating maintenance and capital budget, moved by Mr. Jones. Amendment to the budget personnel summaries, decrease in the president's salary in the amount of $32,830.38, decrease in grant writer 50% in the amount of $19,369.62, increase in project manager 40% salary in the amount of $52,200, moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. It passes 7-2. Amendment number 209 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget, moved by Mr. Jones. Provide funding for the register of voter certification and early voting site in Central Lafourche. Decrease in personnel summary grant rider 50% in the amount of $13,130.38. Increase in register of voters general fund 00141410457,000. Professional development amount of $13,130.38. That was moved by Mr. Jones, second by Ms. Councilwoman Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Passes 9-0. Congratulations. I hope we can get that done for the people of Central Lafourche area. Amendment number 2010. Amendment number 210 to 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget, moved by Mr. Jones, providing funding for Commission for Women, Executive General Fund 00141502, decrease in 456,000 dues in the amount of $20,331.19, increase in the Fund 126 transfer out in the amount of $20,331.19, Commission for Women Fund 126, increase in Fund 126 transfer in the amount of $20,331.19. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by
Mr. Chairman,
Esposito. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I have an amendment to that.
All right.
I don't want Sparker to get mad with me, so I gotta get it right.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, he's asking you.
No, you have the mic. You have the
Okay,
floor.
go ahead, sir.
The amendment read, under Commission for Women Fund 126, I'd like to increase in grant miscellaneous in the amount of $20,331.19.
How much again, Mr.
I got it in
Jones?
writing. I need it for the next one too. It's $20,331.19. That's increase in grant miscellaneous under Commission of Women, Fund 126. Commission for Women. And I want to include it right here under increase in grants.
So you taking
That's-
out the fund part?
No, we're leaving in the fund, but we need to put this so the parish president can be able to give them the money, expenditures.
Is that right here?
Yeah, but I need it for the second one too.
All right,
All right?
let me write that down.
It's gonna be the same page right here.
All right, and the same amounts.
No, it's gonna be that amount, yeah.
All right, I have an amendment from the floor from Mr. Jones, and it reads increase in the grant amount miscellaneous in $20,331.19. Am I correct, Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
And second by
I'll second.
Mr. Parallel. Any discussion on the amendment? Well, Mr. Jones, you sponsored it. Who seconded the whole, and Councilwoman Esposito? Now we're gonna discuss the amendment. Anybody having discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye on the amendment.
Aye.
All opposed? 9-0. Now we're gonna vote on the whole, amendment 210. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. 9-0 passes. All right, amendment number to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget moved by Mr. Jones, providing funding for the Commission for Women, Executive General Fund 00141502, decrease in 422000, 18016, FICA, MED, in the amount of $2,515.24. Decrease in 423000, 18016, retiring amount of $1,972.74. Decrease in 426000, 18016, WC, in the amount of $180.83. Increase in the Fund 126, transfer out in the amount of $4,668.81. Commission for Women, Fund 126, increase in Fund 126, transfer in the amount of $4,668.81. That was moved by Mr. Jones. I need a second. Second by
Got an
Councilwoman Spalding. You got an amendment. You want to read it?
Under Commission for Women's Fund 126, increase in grant miscellaneous in the amount of $4,668.81.
So his amendment is increase in grant miscellaneous in $4,668.81. I need a second. A second by Mr. Bourgeois. We're gonna vote. Anybody discussion? A vote as amended. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Now we're gonna vote on Amendment 211 as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. 9-0. Sorry, Ms. Corley. It passes. Congratulations. Hopefully we can get it. No. You can, thank you. Amendment number 212 to 2012 proposed operating maintenance capital budget moved by Mr. Jones. Funding for the South Louisiana Economic Council, Executive General Fund 001415002, decrease in the fund of 00141502456,000, 456,000, Jews in the amount of 25,000. Grant Fund 001415020, 001444401, increase in Fund 001444401, miscellaneous grant in the amount of 25,000. Moved by Mr. Jones. I need a second. Second by Councilman Otan. Any discussion? Jerry, you need to change that one too?
No, it's good. It's good. It's just moving from one part of the general fund to another one, so
All
it's
right.
good.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment number 213 to the proposed 2018 operating maintenance and capital budget moved by Mr. Jones, second by Councilman Perilou, providing for funding for South Central Planning, Executive General Fund 001415002, decrease in the funds, and 00141502456,000, dues in the amount of 25,000. Grants Fund 001415020, 001444401, increase in Fund 0014401, miscellaneous grant in the amount of $25,000. Motion by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Perilou. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment 214 to 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget moved by Mr. Melvin, included, second by Mr. Otan, include additional funding for the purchase of land and building for the coroner's office project in 2018. Project detail 2018 102 building maintenance fund. Fund 102 building maintenance increase and transfer out to capital outlay 102 in the amount of $250,000. Fund 299 capital project increase and transfer in the amount of $250,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of $250,000. Provide additional funding in the purchase of the land and building for the coroner's office. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I have an amendment. I need to, where it says deleting 102 and replacing it with 299.
Where it says.
Right. In other words, I need to change 102 to 299. Replace it with 299.
You need to replace Fund 102 buildings and maintenance? Where at on here you need to change that? All right, so on the first line of the fund, building maintenance, increase and transfer out of capital outlay, 299. In the amount of $250,000. That's your amendment. I need a second. Second by Mr. Perilou. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Amendment passes. Now we're gonna vote on as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment number 215 to 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget moved by Mr. Grow, second by Councilman Pearlou. Rename capital budget fund 05103 courthouse annex to general maintenance and equipment for all Lafourche Parish government-owned Thibodeau courthouses. Motion, that was Mr. Gross, second by Mr. Pearlou. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment to 2000, see, when I talk, everybody wants to vote for it. How y'all like that? Amendment 216 to the 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget. Moved by Mr. Grove. Included, second by Mr. Otan. Include additional funding for the Layton boat launch project and 2018 project detail 2018 110 Recreation Fund. Fund 110 Recreation increase in transfer out to capital outlay 299 in the amount of 20,000. Fund 299 capital projects increase in the transfer in the amount of 20,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of 20,000 to provide funding for Layton boat launch improvements, floating dock. Moved by Mr. Grove, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. One nay. Mr. Lorraine. All right, passes 8-1. Amendment 217 to 2018 proposed operating maintenance and capital budget moved by Mr. Grove include additional funding for the Peltier Park Turf Field project and 2018 project detail 2018 110 Recreation Fund. Fund 110 Recreation increase and transfer out in the capital outlay 299 amount of 100,000. Fund 299 capital project increase in the transfer in the amount of 100,000. Increase in the capital outlay in the amount of 100,000. Provide funding for the Peltier Park Field turfing. Moved by Mr. Grove, second by Mr. Pearlou. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Two nays, 7-2. Amendment 218 to the 2018 proposed operating and maintenance capital budget moved by Mr. Grove to include funding for the Clerk of Court Building Repair and Renovation Project and 2018 project detail 2018 102 Building and Maintenance Fund, Fund 102 Maintenance Building increase and transfer out in the capital outlay 299 in the amount of $200,000. Fund 299 capital project increase and transfer in the amount of $200,000, increase in capital outlay in the amount of $200,000. Provide funding for the Clerk of Court Building Repair and Renovation Project. Motion by Mr. Grove, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Passes 9-1. Amendment 219 to 2018 proposed operating and maintenance and capital budget moved by Mr. Grove, second, and Mr. Melvin. Include additional funding for the City of Thibodeau Recreation and 2018 project detailed 2018 110 Recreation Fund. Fund 108 royalty increase and transfer out in Recreation 110 in the amount of $15,900. Fund 110 Recreation transfer in from royalty in the amount of $15,900. Decrease in Recreation Salary Commission Service Director in the amount of $48,750. Decrease in Recreation Salary Grant Writer in the amount of $16,250. Decrease in Recreation Salary Project Manager in the amount of $26,100. Increase in the Recreation Grant 110 in the amount of $107,000 to provide funding for the City of Thibodeau Recreation. That was moved by Grow and Melvin. A second by Mr. Jones. Is that not supposed to be $150,000? No? No. I just thought it was. Y'all taking all the other money at the bottom. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Got two nays. 8-2, it passes.
7-2.
7-2, I'm sorry, 8-2. I can't ask 10 of us. No. All right, Amendment 220 to the 2020 to the 2008 proposed operating maintenance capital budget include funding for the Road Civic Center pump repair project and 2018 project detail fund 110 recreation increase in the out to the capital outlay 299 amount of $50,000. Fund 299 capital project increase and transfer in the amount of $50,000. Increase in capital outlay in the amount of $50,000. Provide funding for the Road Civic Center pump repair project. Moved by me. Somebody moved. Mr. Otan moving for me. Second by Councilman Esposito. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment 221, 2018 proposed operating maintenance capital budget include funding for the Cutoff Youth Center cement slab repair project and 2018 project detailed Fund 110 recreation increase and transfer out 299 amount of $50,000. Fund 299 capital project increase in transfer in the amount of 50,000, increase in capital outlay in the amount of 50,000, provide funding for the Cut Up Youth Center cement slab repair project. Moved by Mr. Otan, second by Mr. Perilou. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Number 222, I'm gonna pull, and number 223, I'm gonna pull. Amendment 224, oh, can somebody pull that for me? I'm sorry.
Yes.
You pull them? All right, Bourgeois pulled both of them for me. Amendment 224, an ordinance to adopt the 2018 operating and capital budget for Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. I need a second. Second by Mr. That's what it says, huh? And this is operating the salaries, adopting the salaries.
They doing just like they did for me and Reggie.
Yeah, it's corrected by the auditor. They were wrong, just like Ms. Carlene's was.
So
We just correcting them so the salaries are right, yeah.
It's a rounding error.
You put that on, they didn't tell you?
No, man, they use my name, bro.
No, they just use your name, I got you. All right, I gotta read all these, right? Under the classified executive branch employee salaries are set as follows, change. Parish administrator from $42.07 hourly rate to $42.073560 hourly rate. That goes for $3,365.60 bi-weekly to $3,365.88 bi-weekly. With an annual salary, we're gonna change from $87,506 to $87,513 annual salary. Finance director from $38.46 hourly rate to $38.461540 hourly rate. From $3,076.80 bi-weekly to $3,076.92 bi-weekly salary. $79,997 annual salary to $80,000 annual salary. From Public Works Director from $40.39 hourly rate to $40.38.4615 hourly rate. That goes $3,231.20 bi-weekly to $3,230.77 bi-weekly salary. And the annual salary is from $84,011 to $84,000 annual salary. Community Service Director from $33.65 hourly rate to $33.653848 hourly rate. That's a salary going to change $2,687.78 bi-weekly salary to $2,692.31 bi-weekly salary. The annual salary is going to change from $69,992 to $70,000. Human Resource Director from $32.97 an hour to $32.967031 hourly rate. Going to change her bi-weekly salary from $2,307.90 to $2,307.69 bi-weekly salary. Annual salary is going to change from $60,005 to $60,000 annual salary. Planning and Permit Director from $36.06 hourly rate to $36.05769 hourly rate. Bi-weekly rate's gonna change from $2,884.80 to $2,884.62 bi-weekly salary. The annual salary is gonna change from $75,005 to $75,000 annual salary. Total from $521,516 annual salary to $521,513 annual salary. And that was moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment 225 to the ordinance to adopt the 2018 operating and maintenance capital budget for Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting salaries of unclassified employees as provided by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Under Coroner's classified employees of executive branch salaries are set as following change. Chief medical, legal, investigator, administrator. Hourly rate, $28.38, hours worked, 70. Forensic legal investigator, hourly rate, $19.83, hours worked, 70. Medical legal investigation, hourly rate, $17.45, hours worked, 70. Assistant coroner hourly rate, not applicable, hours worked, not applicable. Coroner hourly rate, not applicable, hours worked, not applicable. Assistant's coroner hourly rate, not applicable, and hours worked, not applicable. Assistant's coroner hourly rate, NA, hours worked, NA. Coroner's clerk hour rate, $15.28, hours worked, 70. Medical investigator hourly rate, $15.70, hours worked, 70. And that was moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Passes 9-0. Amendment number 226 to the ordinance to adopt the 2018 operating and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting salaries of unclassified employees as provided by Article 5 of Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, moved by Mr. Lorraine, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Under the Community Action class, unclassified employees, executive branch, salaries are set as follows change. Community Action Director went from $32.28 hourly rate to $32.275500 hourly rate. Went from biweekly salary of $2,582.40 to $2,582.04. Annual salary changed from $67,142 to $67,133.04. Total from $246,500 annual salary to $246,491.04 annual salary. Moved by Mr. Raines, second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. It passes 9-0, and that's the last one I have.
All right, thank you, sir. Section E, ordinances for discussion and ratification. Number 7, ordinance to adopt 2018 operations and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois. So this is based on these very hearings that we just wrapping up, right, on the numbers that were changed to accommodate the budget. So any discussion from the public on this item? One time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none, any discussion from the council?
You need a second.
You have any other discussion? Your lights on.
My lights on? No, I'm sorry, I'm still reading.
Okay, so if no more discussion, moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. Lorraine. Moving to a vote, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Section F, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. Can we get a motion to open? Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by Mr. Otam. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item number 8, ordinance establishing that the first parking slot to the left of the north entrance of the Lafourche Parish Government Complex building on West 4th Street, Thibodaux, Louisiana, be designated as a Lafourche Parish Council parking spot. Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Being none. From the council? Being none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 9, ordinance requesting that traffic calming devices and the appropriate signage be installed at West 202nd Street, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, under the rule of exemption due to extenuating circumstances. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by. Can we get a second? Second. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. Being none. Any discussion from the council? Ms. Esposito.
Mr. Daniel, did this go through the police department already, and they?
Light on, mic on.
Did the police department do their evaluation?
No, after we vote on it, then Then they,
No, that's not how the ordinance reads.
That's not how it works.
I got a letter from a constituent.
No, but the police department has to rule it not eligible for regular circumstances. And then it goes to extenuating
Well, I'll
circumstances.
just bring the guy over here. Well, if that's how you feel.
It still has to get the police department to do an assessment.
That's how I did it last time. The last-
Extenuating circumstances is for those situations where they can't get approved through normal channels.
Right. That's why you have a letter from the guy that lives there. He
Yeah,
said
but that's
that.
not normal channels. They can't just write a letter and get a speed bump. It's got to go through the sheriff's department
I
first.
understand that. Nobody's gonna get a speed bump. I can tell you right now, it's not gonna happen.
All right, so let's move it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Oh, I need hands. So-
I tried getting it through the sheriff's department, they told me I had to come.
Ma'am, that's not correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
They refused to do it, they told me I had to come through the process
Okay.
to get it done.
All right, nays, put your hands up. Nays, Jones, Esposito, Paraloo, Melvin, Old-Town, LaFont.
Mr. Chairman, if I could say something?
Go ahead.
I read, I don't know if that was your family who wrote the letter, it was very touching, and, but what they're saying is correct. There's a process that you call the sheriff's department, there's signatures that can be done, there's a speed device that's put up, just to track things. There's some things that we need to do to quantify it as a, extenuating circumstance. But, my only question was, did they need 3? How long the street was, to classify 3 without a study? I didn't understand that, but I do feel that you should get one.
All right, lights are still on. Ms. Esposito, you have something?
Officer Champagne, Captain Champagne, I'm not sure, do you have anything to add to that about the speed? All right,
No,
just wanted to
he
give you a
doesn't.
chance.
All right, Dan, you have something else?
I do.
Mr. LaFont?
There's a form you can fill out, and I think I have a copy at my house, so I can get it to you. I'll give you my phone number. Yeah, but there's a form through the sheriff's office, I'll give you a form. Daniel should have had the form.
All right, item 10, ordinance amending ordinance 5977, that as it pertains to no swimming and no tying of boats to the Leeville Fishing Pier and no anchoring within 100 feet of the Leeville Fishing Pier, to add the following: no throwing of cast nets off the Leeville Fishing Pier, no animals allowed on the Leeville Fishing Pier, and 2 fishing lines per person on the Leeville Fishing Pier, Leeville, Louisiana. Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of the following signs: no throwing of cast nets, no animals allowed, and 2 fishing lines per person to the Leeville Fishing Pier, and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by. Second by. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. How about from the council? Mr. Lorraine, you got something on this?
Yes, the Leeville Commission met, and that was the recommendation, and, to be fair about the animals, there are, I've been there quite a few times, there are people that bring dogs, so you couldn't rule out cats, so the best way to do it would be put no animals allowed. And a few times they got people fishing with 10, 12 lines scattered out, which they're taking a lot of room. It should be a couple of lines in case one breaks and you have one. And as far as the cast nets, when people are fishing, you don't want somebody to come through a cast net. That has happened many a times when I was there, and you couldn't tell them nothing because we didn't have nothing on the books. And that's what the commission recommended.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Melvin?
I'm not in favor of the cast net deal because I understand the purpose of the pier. Most people who have boats are gonna go cast net somewhere else, but somebody might wanna throw a cast net just to throw a cast net to get a little bait. I hunt public land this past weekend. I had hunters walking all around me. I mean, I'm not gonna tell them, no, you can't walk there, it's public land. So,
thank you, Mr. Melvin.
Whoa, if you're fishing at a pier, you don't want the guy on the side of you to throw a cast net. Now, come on. Let's be
I
honest
agree
and
with
real.
you. It's too much legislation. Mr. Oldtown?
And once again, too, I agree, if the pier is overloaded with people, then they should have common courtesy to not do all these things. But if there's nobody there and there's a couple of kids that want to cast net underneath the lights, they might smoke the shrimp. I mean, I don't want to prohibit that. So in principle, you're right. People should be ethical, but I think this is way over legislating.
I agree. All right. Ms.
Yeah,
Esposito?
I'm just wondering who's gonna police it, because, or is the community?
Bob Gouge might police it.
Yeah, I mean, police
No, I
don't
don't
have.
think it's Bob Gouge that's gonna police it. It's gonna be the Port Commission that make their regular rounds, and if you got a problem, you just call the sheriff's office.
Mr. LaFont?
Yeah, and I understand what Mr. Lorraine's trying to do, but on the commission that he said they discussed, that commission has no jurisdiction over the Leeville. They are taxing district and cultural board, that's it.
I agree.
All they did was make a recommendation. I mean,
Right, we're
if y'all
gonna,
want- hey,
we're
look,
gonna
just
take up
shoot
the
the
vote
damn
right
thing
now. We're
down.
gonna move it to a vote. All in favor of this ordinance, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Fails 2-7. Ordinance 11 to establish that the administration be required to request receive sponsorship for their items from the council members whose district is affected by the item. Can someone move for me on this? Ms. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion from the public? One time, 2 times, 3 times, being none from the council? Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, my feelings, I don't think you can legally do this. What happens if there's something in my area that I really don't want and y'all all want it? It doesn't look that way over here, but in case something would come up and I said, no, man, you ain't putting that on there. I think, I'm not an attorney, but the charter says that any councilman can sponsor whatever they want at any time. And if you start restricting it, and if you decide to say no and everybody else up here says yes, then you can't put it? That doesn't sound too good to me.
Mr. LaFont?
Just gonna say, I think the charter states that you can't do this. I think we'd have to get a DA's opinion on it.
Yeah, okay.
Defer.
We'll do that. I'll get an opinion. We'll defer it. What's the next meeting date? December 14th. Good points. I didn't consider that. The motivation behind this is if there's something going on in somebody's district and somebody else is sponsoring things and that council member don't know what's going on until it's time, until they get the meeting packet or the agenda. So, and that happens more often than not. So I just don't like for council members to be blindsided by things that they should have been well aware of. Item number 12, ordinance establishing a no parking fire lane on both sides of West 212th Street, Galliana, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary no parking fire lane signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. LaFont. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times from the council?
Quick question, Daniel, just why no parking, why fire lane? Why not just no park? Is it to stop people just from parking on the side of the road? Is it specific why it's fire? Was it requested?
It's a narrow street, and there's a rented house in the front of the street, and it's blocking, they're always blocking everybody. The sheriff's always over
But
there.
I would request that you remove the fire and just say no parking lane. You can just put no parking. Why? I don't want to desensitize fire lanes. When people see fire the whole length of a street like that, and they're elsewhere, you desensitize it. If it's not required, if Lafourche Parish Fire Protection District number 3 didn't request it, I just respectfully ask you just to change it to no parking lane, or no parking.
Well, make an amendment if that's what you want to do.
I'm just asking for you. Oh, that's fine. Okay, I'd like to make that amendment.
Okay, so you're gonna make an amendment from the floor to strike fire lane out of the sign request? All right, so Bourgeois, you're seconding the amendment from the floor? Correct. Okay, any discussion on this amendment from the floor, from the public? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, being none. Any further discussion from the council on this, on the amendment? Being none, all in favor of the amendment? Aye. Any opposed? 9-0. Now we're going to vote on the ordinance as amended, which will read, ordinance establishing a no parking on both sides of West 212th Street, Galliana, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary no parking signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. We'll move it to a vote as amended. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item number 13, ordinance approving an act of donation between Lafourche Parish Government and Drainage District Number 1 for the donation of one 2018 Ram 3500 Crew Cab and chassis 4x4 with the service body, and authorizing Parish President to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam. Second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Any discussion from the council? Lafont, your light's on. You got something? Being none, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Item 14, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-035 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget and capital budget to deobligate projects, reducing CDBG projects, and reclassifying unallocated funds to the construction of the Lockport Community Center, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, three times. Being none, any discussion from the council? Mr. Otam.
I just want to thank Adam and Kelly for their work, keeping us abreast of what's going on with this, because there's been so many consolidations and all, so I thank both of y'all.
Okay, being no more comments, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 15, ordinance amending ordinance number 5941, that amended ordinance number 5877, and ordinance number 5833, which adopted the 2017 operations and capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided for by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, and three times. Being none, any discussion from the council? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 16, ordinance providing for a 2017 supplemental appropriation 17-033 within the 2017 operations and maintenance budget to adjust for year-end projections and deobligate completed projects, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion from the public? One time, two times, and three times. Being none. From the council, Mr. Jones.
I'd like to ask administration, who wrote this ordinance?
Anyone can answer.
That's put together by the finance department. That's done yearly. That's to realign what was projected to be the ending balances for certain projects and funds. So that's just making basically year-end adjustments and deobligating projects that were completed that had leftover funds. So that would be the fund account.
What project is 127?
Give me a moment, I can look for it. If you want to continue, we can come back. If you want to give me a moment, I could find it now. Either way. You said 107?
127.
Okay.
10027?
Right.
He's asking what is the line item 10027? What project is that code for? 10027.
Again, you're gonna have to give me a moment to look that up. There's several on here, so if we could come back, I will look it up and get back with you. Okay.
So no answer tonight, or you have to research it, or what?
Yeah, there's, as you can see, several on there, so.
Okay, I'm just trying
I could look
to
it up.
stay aware here.
Yeah, that's why I said if you, we can come back if you like. I can let you know when I find it.
Okay, Mr.
But I
Melvin,
should
you
be
have
able
a
to find
question
it
on this
before the
item as
evening.
well?
Yes, I have a question. On number 2, decrease in adult revenue of 100, in account 155, in the amount of,
It's 10055.
yeah, 10055, in the amount of $4,258,366. That's the Dugas Canal account. I'm just trying to see something going on with that one, Lee?
Again, this is more than likely, and I'll have to research a little bit more to give per line item on this ordinance. But usually, my thinking is on it, and again, if you give me time, I may have to get back with y'all in the email.
Well, the Dugas Canal
But what-
project's not completed.
Right,
It says
so what
complete project.
could have happened is they projected a certain amount being used this month and this year, and it was not. So they got de-obligated for this year and move it into next year. But in order for me, again,
Well, it's your job. You should know. It's on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr.
at
Jones.
this time, I'd like to ask these deferred or amend this budget and take out these federal grants, 10027, 10055, 110818, 13056. All these is federal grants. And you got in your orders to de-obligate. De-obligate mean to me is taking the money and moving it. So I would like to see these separate ordinance for ending fund balance.
Okay, so the first 4 line items, is that what you're referring to? 10027, 10055, 11018, and 13056?
Because we got west side drainage, that's definitely not completed. We also have Alley-Dog Pump Station in here, hadn't even been started. So we're talking about de-obligating. That's a no-no.
Moving money from projects that aren't complete. All right,
if you read where it says above it, it says to adjust budget. So it's adjusting it, it's not.
If I read it, I read the adjust.
But I agree with deferring it so we can
And
get.
de-obligate, let's put this separate. If you're gonna de-obligate, put your de-obligation on one and adjust on another ordinance.
I agree with Mr. Jones.
so do y'all want to defer to correct this thing, or?
I think you have to pull it and restart it.
Okay, who seconded this ordinance? Mr. Bourgeois, you gonna pull your second? Yes. Mr. Lorraine, you wanna pull it? Okay, ordinance 16 has been pulled. All right, number 17, ordinance approving an act of donation between Lafourche Parish government and the Lafourche Freshwater District for the donation of the saltwater control structure and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin, second by Mr. Otan. Any discussion from the public? 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. Being none, Mr. Lafont?
No, that was from.
No further discussion. Moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Can we get a motion to close public hearing? Moved by Mr. Lafont, second by Mr. Bourgeois. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 9-0. Ms. Esposito, can you read section G, please?
18, proposed ordinance to install 15-mile-per-hour speed limit signs on West 135th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9. Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, providing for the placement of speed limit signs and providing penalties for the violations thereof. Councilman Lorraine. 19, proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 5782 and amending and reenacting Chapter 34, Article 9, Recreation District, Section 34-209 through 34-219 of the Lafourche Parish Code of Ordinance as it pertains to Recreation Districts Advisory Board, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Councilman Paralew.
All right, thank you, ma'am. At this moment, one of the council members need a brief break, so we're going to take a 7-minute recess. 12:12. All right, deferred. Number 22, resolution approving a contract between Lafourche Parish government. That's right. Complete. Number 23, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Olameter DPG LLC for contractor services related to underground facility locating and marking services, and authorizing parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Esposito, second by Mr. Grow. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 23, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Olameter DPG. Never mind, I just read that one. Number 24, resolution accepting the low quote of Brian W. LaRose, real estate appraiser, in the amount of $4,500 for the purpose of appraising the proposed Lockport Community Center property, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Mr. Lafont?
Why is this appraisal costing $4,500?
Yeah, we were emailed a couple days ago.
Oh, that's the one with the wetlands?
Yeah, with the explanation that they recommended,
Okay.
Okay. Moving to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 25, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance United Way, for free tax preparation to the citizens of Lafourche Parish at the Matthews Government Complex, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois, second by? Can someone second this? Mr. Melvin, any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 26, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance United Way, for the free tax preparation to the citizens of Lafourche Parish at the Galliano Annex, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 27, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance United Way, for the free tax preparation to the citizens of Lafourche Parish at the Thibodeau Health Unit, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Grow. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 28, resolution approving amendment number 1 to the contract between Lafourche Parish Government and Pisciola and Associates, Inc. for engineering services for the South Lafourche Airport Corridor Project, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said amendment and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion?
Yeah, all this is a grant, and there was some wording that needed to be changed according to Adam.
All right, thank you.
Is
Mr.
Adam here?
Lafont?
Is Adam here? Yeah, just, 500,000, we don't even have the plan yet.
I'm just telling you what Adam
Right.
told me. That it's a grant, and that they needed
I see it's a
some
grant, it's a
wording
grant for
change.
$6,626,000. All right.
All right, any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 29, resolution approving the bid proposal of Lafourche Animal Hospital to provide veterinary services on an as-needed and as-called-upon basis for Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer a contract and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois. Second by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 30, resolution accepting a low quote from Stat Waste Stream Services, Inc. for contract services necessary for and/or incidental or installations, operations, maintenance, permitting, and analytical testing of the parish-owned and operating bridges, buildings, and community wastewater treatment facilities, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said contract and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Jones. Second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 31, resolution approving the contract between the Lafourche Parish government and the Division of Administration for the installation of water lines along West 63rd and West 143rd Streets in Cutoff, Louisiana, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer the contract and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 32, resolution reappointing one member to the Fire Protection District Number 6 Board. Mr. Grow.
Mr. Robert Winkler.
All right, Mr. Robert Winkler, do we have a second? Mr. Jones seconds. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 33, resolution approving memorandum of understanding between Lafourche Parish government and the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana, CRCL, for the purpose of protecting the shoreline for the Pointe-a-Shank grant application and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said memorandum of understanding and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Bourgeois. Second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 34, resolution approving an agreement with Anthony J. Alford Insurance Corporation to provide voluntary employee vision benefits with Emeritus effective January 1st, 2018 for full-time employees of Lafourche Parish government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Gross, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? Being none, moving to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 35, resolution approving Block Briggs and Associates, Inc. to advertise for bids for an oil, gas, and mineral lease for the following described tract of land and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Melvin. Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 36, resolution accepting the low quote of RRL Real Estate Appraisal LLC in the amount of $750 for review appraisal services of the proposed Lockport Community Center property and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Otam. Second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 37, resolution approving a license agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and XLK International LLC and appointing XLK International LLC as broker of record for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine. Second by Mr. Bourgeois.
Somebody wants to speak.
Oh, we have some people from the public wanting to speak on item number 37?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Byron Landry and Mr. Buddy Leday, if you'd approach the podium, state your name and address for the records. Gentlemen, please remember you have 3 minutes each.
My name is Byron Landry. I live at 103 Belmont Street in Thibodaux. I'm with Gallagher Benefit Services, and we're located at 2000 Audubon Avenue in Thibodaux.
And Buddy Leday at 222 Weber Drive, Thibodaux.
We are the current brokers on the health insurance, and the resolution is to replace us as the brokers. We want you to know that if the resolution does not pass, that we are prepared to continue to be your brokers. We have been, over the last couple of months, continuing to do our job, and we've shopped and marketed the insurance with the three major carriers and across the board, fully insured and self-funded. We have several different options to meet with the administration on, and to go through and so that we can come up with a program that is viable and affordable and good benefits for the employees of Lafourche Parish. So we just wanted to let you know we're just going to be brief. We have nothing else to say other than that we're ready to keep moving forward if this resolution does not pass.
All right, any questions for these gentlemen? Being none, thank you. That's all you have? Okay. Yes, sir? Name and address for the record, please.
Name is Joseph Harrison, 3239 Highway 308, Napoleonville, Louisiana. Business owner in Lafourche Parish and taxpayer. I'd like to preface, and I want to make sure that this gets on the record, and that's why I'm going to make the comments, because I was the secondary broker on the contract with XLK under Wellport Services. It's listed in the contract. So I wanted to make some comments about what I've heard on this particular contract and also what's going on. But I'd like to preface that with I have no personal comments to be made about any of the Gallagher agents. They did their job as they were supposed to. They fought for their company as same as we are for our company. But as a businessman and taxpayer in Lafourche, I have to ask the question, as all councils and all police juries or any school boards, are you spending the money in such a way that you would spend your own money? Because that's what the taxpayers ask for. And what I've seen over the last couple of years, 2 years ago when the new president, Mr. Jimmy Cantrell, came in, he opened a bid request for all parish contracts. This is something we did in Baton Rouge, and it changed the fiscal responsibility part of what we could spend and spending the taxpayers' money wisely. Many contracts went out for bid and reduced substantially a number of things that were out there. I think tonight you had 5 resolutions that went to the low bidder, 20, 24, 30, and 36. In that, we submitted a sealed bid last year. We bid with a number of companies that were there, was vetted for almost 3 months by your HR department and endorsed by your HR department as a viable replacement for the existing plan. It guaranteed $375,000 of reduction over the next closest bidder. We assumed at that meeting, since we had already looked at office space for approximately 10 to 11 employees that we have in the home office who are residents of Thibodaux or Raceland, to move into that office. But yet at the meeting, it was voted to table it until the following meeting to review. We were unaware that you were going to negotiate a contract that was a sealed bid and was closed that day that we talked about this in the meeting. You allowed the negotiations to go on with Gallagher. They reduced the cost by $200,000, and it was said that they did it through negotiations. That was never said in the contract, that negotiations be offered, because we certainly would have wanted to be part of the process, and we were not. And we were still $175,000 less, guaranteed to the council. I think the things that we have seen in bidding is what is fiduciary responsibility. I brought that up last year, but it concerns me that Gulf South is a local business. They're a Louisiana company. They're a 40-plus-year-old company, and they were neglected in this negotiation process that we weren't even aware of until we were told about it by one of our competitors. You cover approximately 440 employees with the council members, the employees, their families, the library, and the DA's office. And in that, you're going to see a disparity between this body and Lafourche school systems. There is a large number that is looming out there that I'd like someone to explain, because it was never explained to us what was going on. Now, in the second bid, it was an RFP. The RFP also had an evaluation process for any of the bidders. We went through that. We ended up being chosen as the lowest bidder, but also as the top company for the evaluation process. That apparently has changed. All I'm trying to find out, is it worth bidding? Because the rules change after the contracts go out. I mean, there are companies out there that would like to bid, but in hearing what went on the last 2 years here, and the misuse of numbers according to what the taxpayers donate to the two bodies that I referred to, is somewhat questionable. I have asked I'm gonna meet with the district attorney tomorrow to discuss some of the issues that she pointed out so that we can get a better clarification. As a taxpayer, I see that the numbers that we're looking at here, under what you had last year, it was $11 a month for a single. It went up to $43. The parish school system has $135, the employee's contribution. To a spouse, $336 versus $162 for the council. The council has $284 requirement from the employees for family, and Lafourche school system, $610. Again, what is the disparity between the two bodies? What is the questions that the taxpayers, as myself, are asking, and how can we afford to keep going down this path without looking at true responsibility for bids or RFPs or evaluations? Because if that process isn't going to be upheld both legally and morally and ethically, then there's no sense in anyone coming to this parish to try to submit a bid. But yet, in 5 resolutions, you went with the lowest bidder. But in the largest expenditure that you have before this body, you did not. You allowed someone to come back a week, 2 weeks later, and submit a bid that was $200,000 less, with a remaining balance of $175,000.
Who allowed that?
The council.
Yeah, no.
The council
I don't
allowed
think
that.
there's a member on this council right here that was privy to those numbers, sir.
Pardon?
I don't think any council member was privy to those numbers you're talking about with the $200,000. Someone came back with this and
I'll
that.
refer back to the minutes that I received when they came before you and said, we are going to reduce our cost by $200,000 after the sealed bids have been opened 2 weeks prior to that. It was here in your chamber. I asked you to look at the minutes of your meeting. I had them. So now we're in a situation and you have this parish struggling.
I think that was actually after we voted to retain their services.
Regardless, you cannot take a sealed bid and then renegotiate the bid once all bids are opened to expose what happened.
We didn't renegotiate
That's exactly
anything,
what
sir.
I don't remember having a sealed bid, sir. I never had a sealed bid. Y'all did a sealed bid?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest with you, sir.
Well, I think the public will understand it because the disparity between what's going on between the two bodies, what is being paid, what taxpayers are putting up about approximately $20,000 of taxpayer money for health insurance plans that many of our people in this parish and the surrounding parishes, due to the lack of work in the oil field, are going to question why I can't afford a plan like this, but yet my tax money is affording it.
So you're just here to be a steward of the taxpayer dollars?
I am a taxpayer.
Okay, so you're just here representing the taxpayers and not your own self-interest?
And a businessman.
Oh, you're a businessman. Are you on the agenda tonight?
I said that. I'm here for XLK. I'm on that contract.
It's coming together. I understand.
So what I'd like to know, and I'd like a response, is that I brought up these particular subjects. I'd like a written response, whether it's individually or as a parish.
As a parish, you got it.
That's all I can ask.
Administration, can you respond to this man's questions, please? All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr.
I have a
LaFont.
question. You said we negotiated contracts. Who did you get that from? Where did we negotiate contracts?
This council never negotiated a
Mr.
single
Landry told
contract,
me
sir.
that not 10 minutes ago.
Mr. Landry, you said we,
Come on up, Mr.
You might want to come up and defend that.
Listen, I got something maybe can help you all out.
Wait. Yeah, this makes no sense. You're vying for a contract, and you're trying to throw the council under the bus to get your contract?
No, sir.
That makes no sense, sir.
We were not going to get the contract. We were told that.
Who told you that?
We're informed by the district attorney's office that we did not have to adhere to what was done in this contractual agreement that was out there. We were told it. You didn't have to go with the bid. You didn't have to go with the evaluation.
We're not bound by any bids.
Well, I don't have anything more to say about it. I just made a
Appreciate it.
statement that I think was something that needed to be said.
All right, let's move this item number.
No, Mr. Chairman, I got some, I want to ask, and you can have a seat, Mr. Harrison, if you're done. Mr. Jimmy, I got a question for you. Have you ever told anybody that I negotiated last year? This has been on my mind for a long time. I have been sitting on it for a year. I've been pretty perturbed about it and upset. Have you ever told anybody that myself, negotiated, or if you don't want to ask anybody, negotiated the insurance contract with any of these guys, or even any insurance company? Can you answer it? All right. Since all this took place, I'm going to play something for y'all. Y'all going to see why. Y'all going to understand the whole insurance bid. Last year during this insurance bid, I was called by somebody who was up for bid to come speak to him. But guess what? I recorded the conversation personally because I felt like I needed to, because it just didn't seem right. 23 minutes. I'm not going to play all 23 minutes. I'll play you a few minutes. And I think it's going to answer your questions. I think it's going to resolve a lot of things. Actually, the Sheriff's Department has this tape too. I think the District Attorney's Office was aware of it also. So I'm going to play it because I'm tired of sleeping on it.
Can you preface it a little more? Who you speaking about? I mean, who you speaking to?
You'll hear it. So, gentleman by the name of Mr. Kent Bouvier, who has Allstate Insurance, I think he's on tonight, called me up, said he needed to speak to me. And so I went, and I recorded. And I had more than one recorder on.
I want to tell you something. It's going to bother you, and you're going to want to react. But I don't want you to. I want you to let me handle things. And you just have to trust me when I tell you that when it comes to this, I can handle it a lot better than you can and more effectively. I know Jimmy like the back of my hand, man. And I got to know Jimmy the hard way by getting by him. And I hunted with him. I hunted with him for 7 years, and we hunted every day in the same duck blind. You get to know somebody. Jimmy's corrupt from the core. It's just who he is. What makes him even more dangerous is his wife and his son are infinitely more corrupt than him, but they don't have that appearance. Jimmy has the appearance of being corrupt. They have the appearance of being good people. You with me? Mm-hmm. You got a cell phone on right now? You got on you? Put it in your pocket. That sour called me yesterday. He said, look, man, I need a favor from you. I got it on recording. Every call on my phone, every call to my office is recorded. He said, look, man, I need you to call the DA and tell him that Jerry called you and negotiated the insurance with you. He said, but he didn't. And to be honest, Jerry didn't do any more than some other councilman did. He answered questions I had. And he gave me his opinion. That's it. I said, but Jimmy, I got people that call me that sit 20 feet from your desk. I got people in the DA's office that call me. I got people on council on aging that call me that all are affected by the health plan. I said, I got a lot of calls I haven't returned because I just can't return them. I'm not in politics. He said, no, man, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to call Lisa and tell Lisa that Jerry called you and tried to negotiate the insurance with you. I said, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I got off the phone. Of course I didn't call. So he calls me back in the afternoon. Hey, baby. He calls me back in the afternoon. And he said, you called? I said, yeah, you called. I got a question for you. Jimmy, I didn't want to bid on the insurance. I told you I didn't want to bid on the insurance. I even told you that on policies like this, when you go to underwriting on a big policy like this and you don't get it, they're reluctant to work on the next big deal because it's so much work. I said, I brought to you the best coverage and the best price, and you're going with a plan that is absolutely absurd. You don't know what your exposure will be. And I said, look, you came to me and asked me to bid. I told you I didn't want to bid. And he did. He came to me. He said, look, I want competitive bid. I said, Jim, I don't believe you for 1 second. If I thought you were interested in competitive bids, everybody would get a fair shot. I would bid, but I don't believe that for 1 second. He said, no, man, I'm telling you, I'm asking you to bid. Put in a fair bid. I told him no, then I told him yeah. So we talked about all that. He said, Kent, the best price is going to get it. But there's a problem. There's a problem. Jim told Tony that he was going to get him the disability in life. He already had the vision and dental. And y'all had given the disability in life to Gallagher. After that meeting in my office, you took the bid away from, you had already sent out a letter to Gallagher saying they had the vision in life, the disability in life. I said, then you took it away and you gave it to Tony, which I'm not complaining about because Tony's a friend of mine, but you full of when you say that you want to give the best, you want to get the best price and the best policy. So I said, it was all nothing but a bunch of Jimmy Cantrell bull. And I said, where does this self-insured plan stand tonight? I said, you know, I wouldn't be upset, Jimmy, if you would have called me and said, Ken, I cut a deal with Joe Harrison. Tommy and I are getting something. You just got to back off. I understand the game. I hate it, but I understand it. Right. I'd have backed off. Let me tell you, I backed off for other people.
What was that last comment?
I said, but you didn't do that.
Cutting a deal?
I said, you.
I think y'all got a gist of it, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody come and say I'm negotiating contracts. And I'm not being fair to and good to the people, because nothing I do is fair and good to the people. And I wasn't going to play it until he got up there and started saying that. Because I never negotiated no contract. I don't think any of y'all ever negotiated a contract. And I'm sorry I had to play it, and I excuse the language in it to the public. But 1 year I've been having to sit on this. And I tell you, when I got into politics, and it's to help my community, and this has been on my nerve, driving me crazy. And I'm not going to sit for it, and I had enough. So now y'all vote your way.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Jones.
Mr. LaFont, I would like to thank you for bringing the truth out. I've been saying that a long time, and I'm also waiting for another tape to come in.
I take exception to the last gentleman's statements that this council renegotiates sealed bids. Sir, I don't know what land you're coming in from, but that has never happened and never will happen because this council has too much integrity to participate in something like that. You have 1 minute to respond to it.
Then tell me how, when the bids were open, the prices were exposed, that you allowed 2 weeks later a competitor to come in and drop their price by $200,000.
Talk to the administration because they're the ones who submitted that number.
No, sir. That was said in the meeting here by the company that you chose. Check the minutes. I have a copy. I would check your minutes. I'd be happy to supply that to you.
All right, we're voting on 37, resolution approving a license agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and XLK International LLC. All in favor? All opposed? Nay. Fails 0-9, sir. Have a great day. Item 38, resolution approving to renew an agreement with Anthony J. Alford Insurance Corporation. Man, I'm telling you what, this whole insurance stuff is just, excuse me. Number 38, resolution approving to renew an agreement with Anthony J. Alford Insurance Corporation to provide voluntary employee dental benefits with Always Care Benefits, Inc., effective January 1st, 2018, for all full-time employees of Lafourche Parish Government, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Groh, second by Mrs. Esposito. Any discussion?
I just want to say one thing. In the tape it mentioned Tony, and I don't think Tony had anything to do with all this stuff. I think it was legit, so I'm going to support it.
Any other discussion? We'll move it to...
This is our current plan.
I understand that. Thank you for that. All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Number 39, resolution to approve an agreement with Allstate Benefits to provide supplemental insurance and administer a Section 125 cafeteria plan for all full-time employees of Lafourche Parish Government effective January 1st, 2018, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Groh, second by Mrs. Esposito. Mr. Jones.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to request that my fellow council vote against this. I do know what Mr. LaFont is talking about. I'm going through some things right now with this and the parish president. So there's no way I can vote for Allstate.
This was the gentleman that you just heard on the tape who this contract is regarding. Mr. LaFont, you have something else? No, I'm sorry. All right, we'll move into a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Nay. Fails 0-9. Number 40, resolution appointing Terrebonne Insurance Agency, Inc. as broker of record for Lafourche Parish Government as it pertains to all lines of property and cash.
Need to pull it.
You pulling that one? Okay. Well, it's pulled. You still want to speak if it's pulled? If that's okay with y'all. Come on up. Who is it? Justin? Okay. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My name's Justin Bourgeois. My address is 102 Brentwood Drive, Home, Louisiana, 70360. I just wanted to see if there's any possibility for us to quote on that. I noticed it got pulled last minute, and they told me it was pulled on administration. And I understand it's your prerogative. Whatever y'all want to do is fine with us. We just wanted to let y'all know, we actually started working on this with property and casualty. I'll explain a little bit. Terrebonne Insurance Agency, they're a 50-plus-year-old agency. They own, it's a family business just like we were. A few years ago, we wanted to get into PNC. We found another business that we had to either purchase or we had to partner with somebody. We decided we wanted to partner with this company. It was a good fit for us. We were asked to take a look into the PNC, and we noticed that we were blocked at a lot of markets. We actually were able to get one quote, and the first company that we got a quote from that was open, we actually saved money for the parish. It's not a ton of money, but we noticed that a lot of markets were blocked. So what we did is we asked the administration if it'd be possible for us to look at a broker record. I didn't want to do a broker record like you used to. Right now with broker records, they're just taking over. we actually line item asked, okay, your renewal's gonna be with this company for this line of coverage. We don't wanna take that from Gallagher or Larice. We just wanted the ability to quote what was left over. And I just wanna ask, we appreciate every piece of business that we possibly can write for this council. We just, if we can save money for the taxpayers and for the parish of Lafourche, we would love the opportunity to do so. The only way for us to do that is through the loss runs, the applications, and the policies which we've been able to receive thus far. We just need the permission to go to the companies that were asked before. So I just want to ask administration, once again, if we would be allowed to do that process. I know we're trying to pull off a miracle because it's only going to happen in a couple of weeks. You know, we'd have to present something for next time. I just want to see, I know that we have hungry markets that have told me we can get good pricing, aggressive pricing. If it beats it, I'd love to be able to present it at the next meeting. If not, I will humbly, like I did last year, I'll say, hey, this other person, we believe that you should stay with them or do whatever, you know. So I just wanted to ask that of you, Mr. Jimmy, if you okay with that as administration? Okay, so.
You want to turn your mic on to answer, sir?
No problem. You can go ahead and bid on it.
You okay with that?
Yes,
So,
definitely.
okay.
I have a problem. I mean, I appreciate you doing your job, but the thing is, I know that there were companies that bid on the life and health,
Okay.
and were told that the PNC was off the table, that it wouldn't be, you know, so I think they would like the opportunity. I don't think we should just afford terrible on the insurance agency. You know, that's my only point, you know.
I get what you're
You're doing your job. It's a shame that they aren't lining up to bid on it.
It's very
but
last minute,
They just
I
put one
understand.
person up, and people were told no, that they weren't looking at that this year. So I think it's an injustice to the ones that have had meetings and were turned away.
And my biggest thing to that would be, so we were asked very late, it was after the medical deal, we asked, we wanted to quote it, and we went to one of our biggest wholesalers for insurance. The second largest wholesaler in the country is CRC. Okay, we went to them and they said, look, they blocked the markets on us, but we didn't give them any numbers. We didn't get one number from any of these companies that we go to. So the injustice really is to the taxpayers of Lafourche that you've got 60-plus markets they could have went to. They could have went anywhere in the world. And they kept it in the same place that they had it. And year over year, you see changes. Last year, for instance, I saw one company, their best quote with AIG was with AIG for workers' comp. This year, RLI comes in with way better numbers. It's an ever-changing evolution. Every 3 months, some underwriter thinks they reinvented the wheel, and they're going to sell this at a cheaper price. So that was my only thing was all these companies were supposed to have been gone to, and you have a renewal. And so I just want to go back to the tables to the ones they discarded and say, can we save money for Lafourche Parish? I understand what you're saying with the fair bid process. I just figured if you could save $100,000 for the taxpayers of Lafourche, would you do it or would you not do it for the same coverages or better? You know what I mean?
And I would only hope that Larice or Gallagher, or whomever we have insurance with, is shopping it. I mean, they're foolish if they're not. I think from what happened
CRC
last year
confirmed that
and
they
this
weren't,
year,
but you know, I understand what you're getting.
Ms. Lucy.
Were you told why it was being pulled? Or can Mr. Jimmy tell me why
What do you
y'all
mean
pulled this,
pulled?
this item? Why was it pulled
Oh,
tonight?
I don't know. I was just told like 5 minutes ago that they were.
Mr. Jimmy, can you?
We pulled it because we thought the health insurance would be enough for tonight. He can resubmit his bid when time comes to submit it.
Oh,
What?
Oh, okay. I wasn't, we
Okay,
weren't
I'm not
pulling on the
following
medical.
that.
I didn't.
No, we just thought we'd just pull
Okay.
it until next week, next 2 weeks.
But you didn't defer it, you pulled it.
Well, pull it.
I mean, we're at the 11th hour here, and what if the council voted against it? I mean, it is now the end of December, the end of November.
All right, so
Aside
this
from
item is pulled.
I got a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir.
Who do we have property casual with right now?
That would be split between Larice and Gallagher.
What's the problem with those two? Did you get a price from them?
Yes, they submitted their renewal bids. Mr. Jimmy decided he wanted to just get a second quote on those things just to see.
When did they submit the bids?
I couldn't give you an exact date, Mr. Jones. I know it was a few weeks ago.
A proposed renewal quote. I'd like to ask you, Dustin,
Yes, sir.
all the buildings here in the parish that's under this umbrella,
Yes, sir.
do you have the square footage and all on every building we got?
We
insured?
have the property and the equipment statements that specify this, yes, sir.
Did you go out to the location, or did someone send that to you?
We get that from administration. It's the same exact application that Larice and Gallagher will be provided. What we actually do is, in the process, we ask you for 5 years' worth of your loss runs so that we can see how good or bad the claims are to explain. That's something underwriters want. We ask for all your policies, and we ask for all applications. And they have an application that has each location, the address, the square footage, what's the exterior of it. It's called an SOV. And so we got an SOV for Lafourche Parish, and we realize that some of these things are being pulled and changed right now with Larice. And as that's happening, we're being updated on that information. We ask for updates on that information so that we can get the same exact buildings, same square footage, they all made out of metal, and we can get it quoted apples to apples with somebody else. And so that's what we've been doing right now. And our biggest concern is that if somebody already went to this market, that market will only be released to that one company. It's a lot different than medical. 30 of us could go to United Healthcare and they'll give us all a quote, right? With this, one person goes to ABC carrier and nobody else can go to them. So we talked about it, and we even talked about next year, because we very much talked about how it's last minute and how the process works and how to make it fair for everybody. But instead of just passing a blanket VOR and try to get that pass through here, which I know is not going to happen, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take the food off of somebody's table. If Gallagher said that's the best price and that's the best coverage, great. I just wanted the ability to go to the other places that they said weren't better and try to renegotiate with them and make it better, if I could.
All right, anything else?
You know, I know what you're saying, but I had a problem with the scoring sheet. This administration been doing a lot of scoring on the people they want.
The medical,
I mean, the last meeting, we had a parish president that scored a sheet that didn't even fill it out.
You know,
so
the way I think about it, and that's why last year I tried to contact a lot of people individually. I tried to contact individually and just give you my story, because I felt a little blindsided, because I got called 2 hours before saying, here's the information, piece of cake, we're saving 12%. Go in there, you're saving money. So I came in, and look, you know, me and you know, that was a learning experience for me with this council, you know. And so I wanted to go in individually and let y'all know, look, if my integrity was for sale, nobody on the planet can afford it, and I don't look good in orange. So I'm not trying to do anything off the cuff. You know, I just want to try to save money for this parish and any client that I would have. And if I can do that and do it better than somebody else, I would appreciate the opportunity to do so. And if not, I completely understand. I felt like item 40 got pulled. I just wanted to ask, look, I don't understand, you know, is there a possibility for somebody else to put this through and even vote on it? If it gets voted down, no problem. I understand. I get it. Look, this is.
All right, thank you. Mr. Melvin, what do you have?
I just have a quick question for you, and I appreciate you being here. I'm in the insurance business as well. You know, look, I'm in sales. You win some, you lose some, right?
No doubt.
Okay.
So I can leave. I just like to fight on my way down.
Amen,
you know?
brother. Would you consider this negotiating or just talking and asking questions?
Yeah, we just talking. We just talking.
We just getting questions answered. How are we supposed to make informed decisions if we kept in the dark by the administration? In my opinion, I think people deserve a fair shot. In my opinion, I don't think people are getting a fair shot. And based on the committee that was composed of 4 people, 3 of which are from the administration, nothing personal, I just don't think that that's a wide spectrum of who and what this parish is. We got the DA's office, library. I'm not going to harass this or go ad nauseum, but people in the public need to know that this process has been a disaster for the employees, for the council, for the carriers. This is not rocket science.
I've been a part of a lot of different ones, and they all different. You know, some of them do this, some of them do that. It's just every day is a new experience on it. Sometimes they do market assignments and they say, you pick the best 3, and I give them 5.
Would you agree with this? And that's my last question. Would you agree that when we're talking about taxpayer dollars and the public trust and transparency, that when it comes to government, we need to really be careful and try our best to be transparent and fair. And is it sometimes it doesn't want to pass a smell test? Would you agree with that?
I don't know about the smell test, but I'll
I'm just
agree
talking
every-
about government in general, nationwide.
Government in general, okay. Government
Okay.
in general, we always have a negative
Okay.
perception of government. And so everything needs to be transparent for sure. And, you know, if I'm
All right,
given an
thank you. That's not
opportunity-
his expertise. Miss
I
Lucy,
do-
go ahead.
I do have one more thing to add, and the previous speaker talked about them being the lowest price last year, or this year, I'm not sure what year he was talking about, but there's some things that, even the scoring rubric that they tried to use was not questioned about low price. With health insurance, you don't go after the cheapest health insurance. You go after the best for the best price, but that's not where, I mean, you don't take the lowest bid on health insurance. That's not a project that we do that with. And so I'm going to stand by, I'm not going to always vote for the lowest price on health insurance on this type of insurance, because we have to protect the health of our employees, period.
And
I'm not
mine's
going to change
health.
on that.
Mine's not health.
No, but I'm just saying, because
Mine's just auto. If you get hit by a car and it's 300 grand and I offer 300 grand, it's the same, you know, and if I can get it for less, then you know.
Right. The only other thing I want to say is Gallagher was called out a few times and accused of a couple of things. Do you all want to defend yourself to any of that, or are you good?
They, looks like they understand the source or something. I don't know.
I think you did a fine job. No matter what, you've been very knowledgeable.
Yeah, thank you. We need to move on, ladies and gentlemen. On to happier news, item number 41, resolution appointing one member to the Fire Protection District Number 1 Board, Mr. Melvin.
Russell Pierce.
Russell Pierce, can we get a second on Mr. Russell Pierce? Armin Otan seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Russell Pierce is in 9-0. Item 42, resolution reappointing one member to the Fire Protection District Number 4 Board, Mr. Melvin.
Lester Beamer.
Second by Mr. Bourgeois. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 9-0. Section I, engineer, architect. Any of you guys stuck around tonight? None. Section J, parish president, department head, directors, and managers' reports, presentations, or updates. Does the administration have any reports to give tonight? Section K, questions for the administration. Does any council members have questions for the administration tonight? Section L, council reports, presentations, updates, and/or questions. I have Mr. Bagala on the agenda tonight, but we'll take care of that at a different date, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes.
just like to say something. Mr. Bagel, I thank you for all the time you spent with the budget and working with us and getting it together. We really appreciate it, something that we never had before. Thank you.
Good point. Section M, legal advisor report.
I'd like to say one thing, too.
Go ahead,
Just to
Mr.
kind of, I should have said it earlier. In regards to the insurance last year, none of us viewed any of the dealings as a bid, and that's where the problem lied. And we all, you know, and I thought the self-insured program was a good program. I looked at everything. It did not pass I felt it was like a gamble. You know, I thought it was a good program. I felt it was a gamble to go self-insured. And that's why I was against it last year. But I also didn't like the way the process was done. And we all even talked about having someone run the process, being involved in the process. And I felt like they waited too long. He mentioned that it was months, and I don't think it was that long between when they got bids, because I was told I would be on the committee as well as Mr. Otan, and never got a call. So I was calling HR saying, hey, look, you know, we're getting backed up. We got 4 more meetings to the end of the year type of thing. And so I know it wasn't that long that this time bids were in. And I don't think we did anything wrong in terms of rigging bids or anything. I think, you know, just like Justin was saying how he wants to shop, I think Gallagher shopped it, you know, and what's going back and got us a better deal. It wasn't a sealed bid. And that's what we wanted this year. But again, I don't think it was done to our liking, you know. So maybe we can be clearer on what we want from them and lay down some rules that maybe they can abide by.
All right, Mr. Grove, thank you. Mr. Otan.
Yeah, and just on the council reports, I just wanted to reiterate, one thing that's been neglected is to talk about the employees. And as many of you know that are in management positions, without your workforce, you have nothing. And I can see where there's a lot of disgust with the employees, and morale is very, very low. And so I really think, because that's one of the things Mr. Harrison never pointed out. He kept talking about saving the taxpayers. He never mentioned about the employees. But without our workforce, we don't have nothing. And I can tell you we're close to having nothing with the disgust right now that's going on with our employees. But on a lighter note, and I know it's a pretty somber night, pretty nauseating night, I know especially for me, I do want to let everyone know that we do have in the town of Lockport, we have our annual tree lighting on the Bioside Park at 6:30 p.m. Friday night. So I welcome the council, administration, and the public to come out and join us, where we'll receive Santa Claus. He'll have gifts for kids under 12, gifts that were built by the prisoners in Angola, really nice wooden gifts. And we'll have free hot dogs and chili, free kettle corn and drinks. So it's a free event. It's nice. It's non-alcoholic on the Bioside in Lockport. The following night, the Saturday at 5:30, we have a very, very large parade that passes through the town. Starts at 5:30. And once again, it's a non-alcoholic on the float, so a lot of candy thrown, and we encourage the public, and I certainly encourage my fellow councilmen and councilwomen to come out and join us.
Thank you for that update.
Corey? One other thing I should have mentioned earlier with the invocation is if you can keep Tony Fontenot and his family in your prayers. He passed away Monday. It's very unfortunate. He was a really big ambassador, I feel, with his show to our area. And I was in Lafayette today. People asking me all about it, so we lost a good one Monday. So keep him in your prayers.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Chairman, one quick, I'd like to congratulate Coach Rebo and the Colonel's football team for having a great and successful year. I think it brought a lot of excitement to Lafourche Parish, and it was really good to see. So let's congratulate the Rebo and his football team and the staff at Nichols.
Outstanding. All right, Section M, Legal Advisory Report. There are no report tonight. Section N, Public wishing to address the council. We're done. Section O, Discussion. Number 44, Discussion concerning the fuel arrangement with South Lafourche Levy District. Mr. Lorraine.
Yes, we still don't have an agreement. I think there's some problems, according to this email, with their legal advisor and someone that works with the parish. And maybe we have to go back and sit down. The administration would have to go back and sit down and see if we can iron this out, because we still don't have the agreement yet. The two attorneys, well, one's an attorney and the other one, I don't know if she's an attorney, I don't think so, but anyway, they're not agreeing on a couple of issues. So
Okay.
we just
And
need
then
to
the
go
next
back.
item is yours as well, concerning
Right.
solid waste contract and funding.
Yeah, with this is tonight, I noticed y'all put a bunch of money in solid waste. Whether there'll be some things vetoed or not, I have no idea. Is it balanced? I still have no idea if the budget is balanced or not. Probably not. Maybe, but I doubt it. And you can't turn in an unbalanced budget. But the main thing is the 3/10 of a penny has to go to the legislature. They have to approve it because Golden Meadow and Lockport puts us in a bind because they're over the cap. We would not be over the cap and outside the corporation. And if you want to put a service charge, you still got to go to the people for that too. So you can't get away from neither one of them without going to the public. And I can tell you, something needs to be done. Whatever, y'all did some things, but I don't know how it's going to play out. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, well, that's what last night and tonight, early on tonight, was all about, trying to move funds where we thought funds were desperately needed, away from frivolous spending. Before we adjourn, I'd like to apologize for, look, it was enlightening what you heard earlier on that recording, but I do want to apologize to the public for the language that you were exposed to. I don't know if the TV folks are going to edit some of that stuff out, but my apologies on behalf of the council for the language. I think the message rang loud and clear, but the language was a little harsh. So can we get a motion to adjourn this meeting? Moved by Mr. Esposito, second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 9-0 adjourned at 9:04.